Hello, everybody, and welcome to round five of the VIP Gran Turismo World Championship. We are all here tonight. My name is Salamander. Most people just call me Sal. I am joined in the booth tonight by my good friends Hovercraft and Azrael. Guys, welcome here. Hovercraft, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. We already had a preview of what's to come with the Thursday group of races, so I'm excited to see what the second half of Division II and Division One has in terms of adapting their strategy, dependent on the data that they gathered from the last race, and whatever may happen. I know we're gonna be here for a very good time tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really hoping for some really good races. Azrael, how you feeling tonight?
Hello, good evening. Yeah, yeah. Hovercraft said it. It's going to be some great races. They got to see the race, 2 nights ago, and even though they did, I still think there's some secret hidden stuff in there they may have not picked up on. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's always the thing. Every time we iterate through these different kinds of races, people are constantly trying to figure stuff out, constantly trying to find an edge. And I expect no less tonight. Absolutely. Well, guys, Hovercraft Azrael, it's great having both of you guys back in the booth here, joining us. Hovercraft, you're supposed to be our special guest interview, and I'm happy that you are going to be hanging out with us for the entire evening here. Um, being part of the commentary crew, I know you've gotten some experience both here and in NRL. Um, my first question to you is just how much do you enjoy doing all the commentary stuff? Doing this kind of behind the scenes, the non-racing aspects of what we do here in the sim racing world.
I enjoy it quite a lot. A lot of that enjoyment is just kind of seeing not only my team, but a lot of the drivers that have competed, past, present, and hopefully future, kind of see adapting throughout the years, trying to get better at their craft, trying to be, a better driver tomorrow and future. So it's always fun. What's not very fun is the amount of sleep I lose due to me having a very early schedule in the morning the next day. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. It's been I think about 2 years of me commentating, or maybe just approaching that. And I've never once wanted to stop fully in terms of the commentating side. Obviously, mixing that with practice and real life responsibilities can become a little bit difficult, but always gotta enjoy it in the moment and just look forward to the next chance I get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we listened to you quite a bit in NRL, where you kind of cut your teeth there. Have you done other stuff besides NRL and kind of jumping in here for the VIP stuff?
Well, NRL is. I don't believe that's actually where my start was. My start was
Oh,
with S7R's first external series, the Toyota Cup, led by Mr. Stig. I kind of hopped in there per chance, just kind of messaged Stig and Toddy, who was the main commentator for that series at that time, and they both said, come on in, hop on. So, commentated that series, NRL, a little bit of IRO GTSC side, as well as my own series for the Red Bull Junior external series or extravaganza series. So that's where I've mostly been at so far.
gotcha. I forgot about the Toyota Cup. I remember watching that, and that one just slipped my mind. You mentioned the Red Bull Junior Series. That's kind of that's your baby, right? Like you kind of thought. Did you think that one up?
Yeah. Right now we're currently running the extravaganza series. Only 2 rounds left for the current season. We had an internal season before the extravaganza season, if you want to call it season one. It was very well received amongst all the S7R members. A lot of faces that you guys may know. Wid, obviously, the Truth Serum, obviously, Rusty Maggots, Mr. Racing also popped in a few races, and we liked, or I guess everyone liked what they saw. So I kind of just pushed the formula even forward to try to make it something for as the next external series that S7R wanted to present and wanted to host, and I took on a lot of the work with that. But obviously, there's been a lot of people behind for the production in terms of formatting the league, in terms of helping me produce the broadcast. Obviously, McNaughty has been a massive help. Without him, I would have had no chance getting the production in terms of broadcasting because I will not lie, I know nothing about that. that is way above my knowledge of production and content creation. But he's been very grateful, graceful to help me along with that side. I approached him. He said, I'm willing to see this one through. I guess he likes me enough for NRL. He keeps inviting me back, so I'm doing something right. But I'm very grateful to him to just help me along with that series. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
McNaughty's kind of the gold standard there, right? That we all kind of try to live up to. Azrael, you got a question?
yeah, I just want to add, I guess, just a comment that, I've been listening to you, Hover, commentate in various series, and I always appreciate someone who is in the booth, who who has some intimate knowledge of what's going on, and they're race car drivers themselves, and can speak to pretty accurately, what's going on track, and you're one of those people. So, um, yeah, props to you for that. I like it.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I've been a very long time racer before I even dipped my toes into commentary. I am S7R's technically speaking longest serving member, as in I am the one that's stuck around with the team the longest. And I currently have no plans to change that record. But yeah, I mean, I've been with Gran Turismo back in sport. Started back when I was just a junior in high school. Knew nothing about racing going into there, and then just throughout the years through GT Sport, GT7, through S7R, and all the previous iterations of the team. Just continue to try to just enjoy the game and try to know as much as I can about not just Gran Turismo, but also all landscapes of motorsport.
That's
Right
super
on.
cool. That's super cool. Yeah. So I mean, speaking of being part of Sector 7 and kind of their longest running member, what kind of give us a little bit of a behind the scenes of what's it like being as part of the Sector 7 team. I mean, from the outside, I get the impression that you guys put in quite a bit of practice. I mean, certainly more practice than what kind of the team members over at like PHG do. We're a little more loose. We like to have fun and all that stuff. We don't take things as seriously as far as like practicing up for races. But I get the impression you guys do. Is there? Can you kind of give us a little peek behind the curtain?
Yeah, I mean, as you alluded to, we do put in a lot of practice for all the events that we try to enter and represent as a team. Most important part in terms of us is just kind of our standards of professionalism. Nuke was on here, I believe, last week to talk about his views on the team, but we very much subscribe to the fact that we don't really care about how fast or how slow you are. We more care about your character and just the fact that you are representing a good group of guys that have worked very hard and meticulously to have the reputation that we currently have in GT7 sim racing landscape. But more importantly, yeah, we do practice quite a lot. We try to practice effectively. We very often talk about, how the car performs, how it changes throughout a stint on a tire. We share lap replays, we share data, we share lap times, we share, our thoughts on maybe the tires will last a little bit longer if we wait a little bit later in the race as the sun goes down, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we none of us would be in this team if we didn't like one another. That's just ultimately this is a hobby, this is a club, and you preferably want to hang out with people that you like rather than people that you hate. It just so happens that we have some very fantastic drivers that try to push the bounds of what is capable in terms of driving.
Yeah, so it almost sounds like it was somewhat of a happy accident that you guys do have a lot of very fast drivers, and maybe just having that sort of mantra or that atmosphere that you guys have of trying to keep things you know on the up and up. That you all want to. You're all competitive, certainly. I mean, that just kind of comes with the territory, right? And all that sharing of information just naturally makes everybody faster. So kudos to you guys for having found a good formula. It seems to be working. Probably keep going with that, and there's probably going to be even bigger things in the future for Sector 7, I'm sure.
Absolutely. That's what we hope. Not just in terms of our results on track, but also we want to expand in terms of hosting our own series and leagues. Obviously, the Extravaganza series is an example. I put in a lot of effort to try to tune all the lobby settings, tune all the, you know, as I said, the settings that are very important in terms of running a successful league, in terms of trying to give something new and fresh to all the competitors, but also try to make it also at the same time easy to jump in. And that was very much the vision for at least their extravaganza series. Very much wanted to let a sandbox kind of style of racing, right? Uh, the most famous rule about the extravaganza series is that you have to do 2 pit stops and that's it, and you also have to run all racing compounds. But mixing up the tire wear as well as the starting fuel, as well as trying to make sure that the time of day is still has a factor in the racing. It very much leads to an open-ended style of racing where everyone knows where the limit is, but how you approach that limit can vary across all drivers, and that's been the funnest part about the extravaganza series. Me and any of the commentators that hop into the booth, we may know more or less how the tires may last, how it may degrade, what corners may cut more into the life than others, where they need to save fuel. But anyone who's watched any of the broadcasts, it's very much an explosive start, simmers down a little bit in the middle as people are just trying to put in their laps, and then I swear every race, the last third of the race, there's been battles up and down the field, and it's hard for us to keep track. I've lost breath countless times broadcasting that series, and all the drivers seemingly want to come back, which I'm grateful for. As you guys may know, leagues live and die based off participation alone. So I'm grateful to see the same group of drivers come back week in, week out to compete and just kind of have a fun time. Luckily, like I said, it seems to have a very good reception amongst all the drivers and the viewers. Will this lead to a season 3? I personally hope so, but that's a question that us as a team have to look over and make a decision on later into the year, possibly. But overall, it's been a fun time. Working hard to get all those settings in. Then, Polyphony saying "screw you" with changing the physics, which is always fun. But overall, it's been a very fun time in terms of that series.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like you've really hit on a good formula with that one. I mean, PD likes to run the Red Bull. I guess you could call it the Red Bull Senior, the main car, which is such a tough car to drive. The Junior is certainly an easier car to drive, but is a bit more accessible to others. And like you said, it makes for really great racing. Azrael, you had another thing to mention?
yeah. I mean, we have about 2 minutes left before quali starts, and that this Red Bull series was inspired by what you put on, over at S7R. So, would we expect the same kind of racing over there in your series as what we're seeing here in VIP?
I think so overall. The vision is very much a sandbox style of racing. But also with the endurance kind of mechanics of they are hour-long races, but you also get to plan out your strategy. You can save on your hard stint to try to gain back some time later on with the softs or mediums, or you can try to blitz on the hards, run hard on the fuel, and try to make up time early on while sacrificing your later stints, but you're probably gambling on the fact that there will be fighting later on to slow other cars down. um, and that's always been the fun part about that series. It's just so unpredictable. You really never know. All the podium finishers in every race have different strategies, have different outlooks, and you really don't know until the drivers put out their hands. Oftentimes in the last 10 laps, when everyone's fighting for those last final points. And I think, it's very much similar to VIP, right? They practice quite a lot. They need to gather the data. Some rounds are a little bit easier to just hop in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna, finish up in the podium, right? You have to do your homework for VIP and Red Bull Junior, and those that do certainly tend to get better results throughout the season.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
right
I
on.
mean, practice makes perfect, certainly. We've only got about 30 seconds left until we get into the pre-qualifying stuff, but I did want to get your thoughts really quick because this is close to my heart. Is what do you think of this round? What do you think of how throwing in the Joker lap to these drivers has kind of shaken things up and kind of stirred the pot with the strategy?
I think it's been really fun. As far at least to my knowledge, you're the first ever person to ever try to implement a Joker lap kind of system. and it does really kind of change up the formula in terms of racing. The most
Cool.
interesting aspect that I've personally noticed is when you do the off-track Joker lap, it significantly seems to cool down your tires, which is a bit of an
Mm.
interesting dynamic in terms of racing. Uh, Makes it less viable to take it early on per se, but later on into the race, later on into a stint, when your tires are starting to die down pretty quickly, you may want to consider a Joker lap just for the tire conservation aspect.
Yeah, so you guys are always looking at all the angles for sure. All right, well, we're going to get qualifying underway. So thanks for all that information around Sector 7 and around the Red Bull Junior Series hover. We'll continue to keep talking throughout the broadcast tonight, but let's go ahead and get qualifying underway here.
This is Ferrari Land, a place where red is not merely a color, it is a religion built on speed, noise, and the occasional spectacular failure. And for generations, the sound of racing engines has echoed through these trees. But today, the red cars will have to watch from the sidelines, because the machines charging onto this ancient piece of Italian tarmac will be McLaren's, a futuristic weapon in the heart of Ferrari country. This is Monza, the temple of speed. It was constructed in just 110 days, and from the moment the first cars arrived, this place was designed for one thing: speed. This is round 5 of the VIPGT World Championship. The championship battle is tightening. Every point matters. Every mistake matters. This isn't about surviving Monza, it's about conquering it. 300 kilometers an hour, milliseconds between victory and disaster. One driver will leave Italy as a hero. The rest will be wondering where it all went wrong. Division II qualifying is next.
All right. How about that video? God, that thing gives me goosebumps every time we watch these lead-ins. But here we are, our third stop in Europe for round 5. The theme here is going to be take a joke. For those that watched on Thursday, that you understand what that means. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up in this one. Hovercraft, you want to take us through what exactly we've got going on for Division 2?
Of course. For the Division 2 drivers, they're going to be running around Autodromo Nacional Monza, but the no chicane variant because the Joker lap equivalent will be the first chicane added on. They're going to be running around in the Group 1 McLaren VGT, 10-minute qualifier to start it off, and then a 20-lap race that it goes afterwards.
Yeah, and for those that aren't familiar, so the Joker lap is there's one, or actually in this one, there's 2 laps where they have to take that chicane, even though we're running the no chicane layout. So those are the Joker laps. Azrael, you want to take us through who is going to be on the grid for this Division 2 race?
Sure thing. All right. We have Justin and Lyric, DHG Lyric for Team Velocity of Hunter. We have Florinoda and Suddy for Black Flag Mafia. Yannick and Drobo for Dented Doors. I'm buddy with Suddy. He's awesome. So I think he's going to do well tonight. And I'm a little bit delayed, so I need that screen to flip. Let's see who is next. There we go. And skill issue or skirt racing. We got Fishtail and Scarlord. For Wheelhouse, we've got Pruner and Spilled Milk. And Lost Matadors, Oak and War, and Iowa and Friends, Part 2, Dad Leisure, and I think actually Left Pass is going to be driving for Pocket tonight. So got some Iowa team members on the field too tonight, so I'll be cheering them on as well.
Yeah, I think we heard from left here that Plaka's not feeling really good, so we wish him well. Hopefully he does feel better soon, but yeah, a bit of a last minute substitution, bringing Plaka in there should be, or with Plaka coming out and left going in, should make for an interesting race for sure. So,
I am sideways.
well, there you go. You're
Okay,
back.
that didn't work. All right.
The graphics didn't update like we thought they would. Um, but yeah, all right. So we're going to be getting qualifying going here pretty soon. As a reminder, there is no Joker lap that needs to be done during qualifying. Qualifying is just simply getting your fastest lap time, same as we're always familiar with. But yeah, I mean, once again, Division II is loaded with a great set of drivers, and it looks like they are out on the track now, getting that qualifying underway. Jay Smith leading them around for this first outlap in this qualifying session. Who you
I
guys
think
looking
that is.
for in this one? Do you have any favorites in this particular session for both for qualifying and for the race? Hover, let's start with you.
I mean, I'm very biased. I want to see S7R Florinota to take a win.
Ooh, oh wow, we got
Ooh.
off track moment there from spilled milk.
Yeah, it looks like they're ghosted inside of each other coming out of the pit lane, and when they unghosted, there was a little bit of a meeting there. They decided, the physics of the game decided that they could no longer occupy the same space at the same time, which is how normal physics works. It made for an issue. But Albert, you were saying you were wanting Florinota. Florinota is a very good driver. I know he's a new addition to Sector 7 racing, if I understand.
Yeah, we picked him up at the end of the previous PhD season. He performed very well there, and once we got to know him, we felt that he was a perfect fit for the S7R culture. But I'd be remiss to state that he's the clear favorite, right? We have Oak, we have Fishtail, we have Lyric, and we have Yannick. Those guys, off the top of my head alone, very fast drivers, and are definitely one to look out for in terms of nabbing a win tonight.
Absolutely. Azrael, you got your eye on anybody in particular?
I'm gonna have to go with my man Dad here. We just saw on the screen. He races in our IRO endurance team. He's very quick. He's our team resident Canadian. And then Fish. Fish is great. He's been around and doing league racing since I started, Gran Turismo 7. So he has a ton of experience.
Yeah, I know I've seen Fishtail around quite a bit, both in I believe he's done a number of seasons in NRL, and then seeing him over here as well, performing quite well, if I recall. Everybody seems to be picking up on things. But yeah, these guys are all going around. I think we were talking before the broadcast. At least this time we don't have Kelso in this one, because Kelso's supposed to be the clear favorite in Division II, being a former World Tour driver. He's a hard one to beat. But with this being, the team aspects of, VIP and all that sort of stuff, kind of bringing that into the fold and having these, like we had a couple endurance races where like you compiled all your times together to make a team time. Certainly makes it, or forces these guys to work together a bit more. I mean, Sector 7 obviously sounds like has been very good at teamwork all along. I think IORT has also been very good at it, but a number of these other teams that I personally am not very familiar with, it's been really neat seeing them come on board and how quick they are. It's like we've had a number of cars come across as putting in their first lap times, and Oak was at the top of the board until he was unseated by Sector 7's Florinota with a 126 flat.
Yeah, Florinota's got some good pace. I'm getting word from production here that we have maybe a mechanical issue in the pit, and I don't think left of path is going to be able to get out instead of qualifying.
So he will likely be starting from the back then. Interesting.
I think so. That's too bad for him. We don't have a World Series driver in this race, but we do have some very rapid people. Oak is a super quick dude. Scarlord, I've done tons of daily races. Top split. He's pretty quick too. So it's gonna be a fun race, and this is a very fast track. Bonds is great. Temple of Speed. We're in very fast cars. It's gonna be quick.
Yeah, I think when we watched on Thursday, I mean, these laps went by very quickly in this McLaren VGT. Very interesting car. We don't see it used in the game much at all, really. I think we've seen it in like a time trial here and there, and that's been about it. I know that we've used it in the PHG World Series, and that was, or no, actually, it wasn't in the World Series. It was during a fundraiser event, and it was, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It seems like these cars, I mean, they are blisteringly fast, which is perfect for a track like Monza here, especially running the no chicane layout. Another one that we don't really get to do much when it comes to, you know, PD picking the tracks and stuff like that. But, you know, getting that extra speed through that first turn is really, really interesting. You know, this
Yeah,
being,
so it looked like
I was going to
everyone,
say,
you know, they went like
yeah,
3
go ahead.
laps and their tires are just dead. So, you know, we've got a couple people that stayed out another lap. I'm just kind of curious, but you know, they're trying to get fresh tires, get that fuel down, and see if we can get to the 25s before this is over.
Yeah, these cars do certainly seem to eat up the tires for sure. Yeah, no, when we ran this track in my Joker series early on. I think it was the third track that we did, and we were using road cars with no downforce, just really fast. I think we were running the Corvette ZR or the ZR1,
Mm.
one of the Ferraris. I think it was the Berlinetta, and then we did have the Aston VGT in there. And it made for really interesting because they had to lift in turn one. You couldn't just go flat out through there. Whereas I believe with these cars, they can still stay flat through all that. I mean, this car basically is a race car. It's not one of the group cars in the game, but it does seem to have all the different bits and bobs that would make it a race car. Now, I believe we are running this with BOP on, so they're all running it stock, but it
Yeah.
still makes for a very fun race. They can actually use the downforce that it's got. And you know, with that, the slipstream, you know, seems to have a big effect. I think we saw that on Thursday, going down that long straight. Being the car in second position is sort of the way to be in going into that last lap, because it gives you that opportunity to get the pass done before you get through that first corner. Now, you don't necessarily want to be in second as you're approaching the start-finish line on the last lap, because there really isn't much of a run-up. You know, you don't have the time to use the slipstream, but on any of the other laps, there's plenty of opportunity to get that passing done on that long straight in the beginning.
I will say I believe we're running actually the Group 1 variant of this VGT. Some of the VGT cars in the game have a separate version to try to be in line with the group classes. As we see Lyric getting really out of shape going through Parabolica. But yeah, I believe we are running the Group 1, if I remember correctly, from the card earlier on.
Okay, thank you for that, Huber. I apparently forgot that bit. But yeah, walk us through this. You saw you lost some traction here. Got his tires on the curb.
Yeah, rear right tire just hitting that curb as the car was kind of going down on the curb. That curb is kind of lifted, right? It's a bit of a ramp. So the power put down was just when the rear right tire was just going down on the curb, and it just made him almost spin. But great car control from VHG Lyric allows him to still keep on going, though the lap is most likely ruined.
Ooh, and we
Yeah,
saw
so
the driver behind. I couldn't remember. Oh, that was Scarlord who was coming up on him. It looks like Lyric didn't see him coming on the inside. They almost got into each other, but was able to make a safe pass, get on by without a problem, and continue to set those laps. Looks like Yannick has worked his way up into P2 in this qualifying session, just barely ahead of Oak, 28 thousandths of a second, but still almost 4/10 off of Florinota. But Yannick just dropped his time a little bit more now, only about 3/10 off of Florinado. He's working his way on up.
yeah, not long left in this qualifying, so there's whoever's on track. This is going to be it. they're gonna be pushing hard with these tires being a little bit worn. But we still see some improvement.
It looks
You
like
know, I
Oak
wanted to.
still has plenty of tire left. Go ahead.
I wouldn't. It's not a lot in these cars. It's going to be hard to improve.
Ooh, and he went
On a
wide. That might be a
yeah.
pen.
So with
It's
the
not a
most
pen.
recent. Oh yeah, no. Oh, and he
Oh, he worked his
improved.
way.
Wow.
He does improve, makes his way into second place. As we watch here as he goes around through Parabolica here. Gets on the, got onto the gas as fast as he could, as early as he could, and definitely went wide. Apparently the steward's not getting on drivers for going wide there, but sometimes it's a chore just to keep the car going straight. It's easy to lose the rear end when you go wide in Parabolica. And it looks like he actually got to the line before time expired. Oak getting one more time around. Spilled Milk also on their final lap of qualifying.
Oh, he's up to fourth. I just saw that. That's good. I know that team.
Off into the dirt. Lost all sorts of time. That's probably going to kill whatever extra time he had going on there. Looks like Oak abandoned his lap as well. Let's see as he comes through Lesmos here. Yep, again, just trying to get on the gas as soon as possible. Gets all four tires off into the dirt. She gets real squirrely. Definitely going to lose a couple of tenths there.
Like we had some driver chatter there in the chat. Yannick saying sorry to Dad. So I don't know what happened there. He has damaged. But good
Ooh,
for him.
look at Yannick's front or left rear tire was totally dead.
Wow. I don't think he pitted all in. He just
He
ran him
must
out.
not have. Yeah, there we see Dad Leisure with some front end damage, so must have had an issue there. Everybody trying to push really hard on the final lap. That's your last chance to finally get yourself to the top of the speed chart, and sometimes you end up pushing it just a little too hard. But there we go. They're going to let the time run out. I think we got about another minute before that will be done, and then we can review the rest of the results. But I think we saw that Florinata was able to hold on to the top spot in this qualifier by about 0.3 of a second. So Sector 7, looking good for the start of this one.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, first lap was just enough to be able to get that pole position at the end of the day. Wonder what he was able to try to eke out compared to what the other drivers may be. Could be maybe got a little bit lucky with the slipstream, or could be lucky figuring out how the battery works in terms of recharge. But at the end of the day, he naturally has the talent to get this pole position. But we still have 20 laps to go, and anything can happen over a full race duration.
And I think in our pre-race, you rattled off a few drivers that you said were kind of the fast ones to watch for. And sure enough, three of them at the top, Florinota, Yannick, and Oak, they had made your list. So seems like you know what you're talking about as far as this, as far as these drivers go. So hopefully they will continue to show us the kind of speed they have. Azrael, you want to take us through the results of that qualifying?
Yeah, we got S7R Florinota in P1, 26.04, followed by Oak, 26.26, and Yannick only 0.3 seconds behind with 126.3. Spilled Milk, 126.7 in fourth. Um, Jonathan in P5, 1 minute 26.9. Empire or Suddy, P6, and Fish in P7, 127.05, and Dad in 127.15 in eighth place. That is only less than a second separation gap there, 1 through 8. Scarlord, P9, Driving Crooner, P10, 127.7. We have Highware T War, P11, and PhD Lyric, well, 128.5. Then I think we'll have.
All right. So
Left
now that
half.
we've gotten through
Yeah.
how the start is going to be for this race, let's go through the team championship points that we've got. I'll run us down here really quick. We got Black Flag Mafia currently leading the team championship standings with 436 points, fairly commanding lead at this point. Infinite Octane and Friends Part 2 with 291 points in P2. P3 is Los Matadores with 231. P4, we've got Velocity of Hunter with 202 points. P5, Wheelhouse Racing with 160 points. P6, we got Skirt Skill Issue Racing Team with 147 points. And in P7, Dented Doors with 140 points. Now onto the Drivers' Championship. Study Empire with Black Flag Mafia leading the charge with 115. Florinoda also with Black Flag Mafia with 110. Laser Unicorn also with Black Flag Mafia with 102 points. And T-Paps B also with Black Flag Mafia with 94 points. So there, that goes to show why Black Flag Mafia is at the top. P5, we've got Kelso as part of Velocity of Hunter with 87 points. And P6, Oak, part of Los Matadores with 86. In P7, Augie the Squirrel, part of Infinite Octane and Friends Part 2 with 73 points. In P8, we have Yannick, part of Dented Doors with 59. P9, Chalky, part of Infinite Octane and Friends Part 2 with 58 points. And in P10, Prince Plaka, who once again we hope will be feeling better soon, part of Infinite Octane and Friends Part 2 with 49 points. All right, so there we go. We got the championship battles going on. We're looking to see just how well people can get around this fast track at Monza. As you mentioned earlier, the Temple of Speed. We'll be looking for some really close stuff. Looking at those qualifying times, it looks like the mid-pack might be where we're going to be seeing a lot of battles. I think we saw 3 or 4 drivers all within a tenth of each other. But even at the front, I think we had, 4 tenths separating first, second, and third. So could be some really close battles all throughout the field. And then Left to Pass You being a bit of a question mark, wasn't able to get a qualifying time in there. Who knows if he'll surprise us and get his way up the field as well. Azriel, any surprises in that qualifying session?
Oh, no, Hover pointed out probably the suspect to be at the top, and they were there. I think it was pretty solid qualifying, and people are incidents aside, probably kind of where their pace is going to be in the race. But we're gonna have some surprises, so it's gonna be a great race. I think we're kicking off here in just a moment.
Yep, I think I hear the drivers are headed to their cars. So we should be out on the track here momentarily. I believe we do have a grid start with a false start check. So these drivers are going to need to be put on the brake to start with. Try not to jump the line and see if they can get their way up into the front. We'll see if anybody's able to get quite the rocket ship off the line and get around. There's a bit of a run up before they get to the first turn. So somebody could try to make that move. Let's see if that happens. But here they are. Oh, it looks like Jay Smith used the power up. He is now up on the pole.
Oh,
Use
surprise
that pole
pole!
position power up. So we'll see. Oh, and it looked like Oak maybe jumped the line there and ended up losing it. But Jay Smith not quite as fast off the line as Florinoda. Florinoda gets ahead of him right away before they even get into turn 1. But Jay Smith hoping to hold off the rest of the pack and maybe have that power up mean something by the end of this race. And here they are, 2 wide, 3 wide, going into that fast first turn. Everybody knows
Yep.
the tail, big bunch up there, but just some slight contact. We saw a little bit of puff of smoke, but nobody really got into it except in the back. Oh, big crash. Big crash in the back there. I don't see who was all involved. Oh, it looks like Driving Crooner got the worst of it back in 14th place.
Oh,
Here he is
no.
in 9th coming into the first chicane.
I think.
Oh, the
Oak
Drovo
also-
must have missed his break point. Gets right into the back. Spins that driver out, Driving Crooner, and Oak also involved in
Oh,
that.
He gets
Oak
reset.
qualified
man.
very close to the front. That is going to put him quite a ways back. There are 20 laps to go in this one, but that's not a lot of time to get caught up. So, see if
Man,
we can
and
push
only
that
our
again.
first lap, we have damage on track. We have multiple drivers with damage. And we're seeing 2 different strategies here. Lots of drivers on mediums, and those guys got that jump off the start. And if we look, I mean, a lot of people on mediums are at the front, and than everyone else in park.
Yep, that would help explain it then. I mean, having especially with the grid start with the false start check, having the superior tire can certainly gain you some positions right away, and we saw that happen. But yeah, Florinota out to a big lead, 2.8 seconds just after the first lap, ahead of Jay Smith, who's been able to hold on to that P2 spot. Suddy Empire real close behind, though, in that slipstream, heading into the chicane, but backs off wisely, hoping to not get into the back of anybody, get nice and smooth through the chicane. Try to see if he can get that move done somewhere else. Suddy does have damage. Yep, on the back of the car. Scarlord also with damage on the back of his car. Running those racing hards.
You know what else I noticed, at least for Empire? He has... Ooh!
Oh! Big crash between Oak and Lyric. I don't know if something happened to Lyric there, that he lost a little bit of speed as Oak got in the back of him. Let's see here as they go into the Lesmos. There's Lyric going through Lesmo 1. Car does get a little bit loose. Oh, he goes wide, so he has to get big time off the throttle while Oak was still on the throttle, just runs right into the back of him. So little time to react with these fast cars.
We have P1, 2 and 3 in qualifying now in almost, 11th and 13th. Wow.
A big shakeup early on, but we haven't seen anybody take the Joker lap yet either. And all these drivers have 2 of those to go, so that can help shake up the field as well. As we watch the drivers go by, we'll see who it is that's coming on the right-hand side of that front stretch. That's the edict that you need to stay far to the right as you approach that Joker. So that should be the dead giveaway. We see drivers start to do that. I do see a driver in the Joker near the back right now. I think it was back in P12 or so. It must have been War. It was either War or maybe it was Drobo. Got himself through. The first driver to set the Joker. Oh, it was War. There we go. And Yannick. Looks like Yannick taking that opportunity since he got sent to the back, get that Joker out of the way. You can see as they get
think
back
here
up
at
speed.
Monza, the Joker lap adds about 10 seconds to your lap time. So it's pretty substantial.
And what I'm noticing, at least for the top 2, between Florinota and Empire, they have a split tire start. Florinota and Empire are both running the racing mediums on the front while running the racing hards on the back.
Oh, wow. We haven't seen that.
Yeah, we haven't seen that. Is that even legal?
Second.
I know there's been
great question. The legality, a lot of different leagues typically don't like that, mostly because it just throws in a bit more complication. But if that is a loophole that these 2 drivers found out while reading the rule book, all the power to them, because this is going to allow them to keep the snappiness of the softer compound while keeping their rear tire, which typically is the limiting tire on this sort of car, completely in check. So they're able to get the nice sides of both the racing hards and the mediums on a very important and crucial start.
So a little
Good
behind
eye
the
there,
scenes, we also noticed that loophole for our Division 1 race, and we tried it as a test, and the cars felt horrible. I mean, having the different compounds, hards and mediums on fronts and backs, you can only do that for the first pit. So when you pit, that's not an option. But according to the rules, it's not illegal. So I haven't seen anyone try it yet or noticed. So props to them.
Yeah, maybe a matter of the car. Certainly some cars can probably make it work, whereas others cannot. We know that in the Division 1 race, they're running the McLaren P1. So maybe that's one where that particular combo just doesn't work out. But we'll see how it goes for these guys. If I know Florinota as well as I do, I'm sure he's practiced this and has seen something good out of it. So we'll see just how this all shakes out and just what happens.
Yeah, what I'm thinking personally, is Florinota? No, never mind. What I'm personally thinking is that due to the 4-wheel drive system that the Group 1 cars are required to have, that allows, specifically, as we see Spilled Milk and Fishtail go into the Joker lap. It looks like Fishtail is going to be able to... Nope, isn't able to get the overtake done off track. What was I going to say? The Group 1 VGTs are forced to have the four-wheel drive system that all the other Group 1 cars are required to have, meaning that on a start, despite the rears being hard almost across the board, because Florinotas has that little bit of an advantage on the front wheels, he was able to jump Jay Smith quite easily.
Yeah, that would certainly explain what we saw there. Um, let me see. Jay Smith is still up in P3. So it looks like using that pole position jump has still worked to his favor. I mean, we still have 15 and a half laps left to go, but so far sitting in P3, it still appears that using that power up has worked out well. Now, remind me,
Yeah.
guys, on Thursday, did we see a lot of cars run the hard and the medium? Because there's no restrictions on this, right? They can run whichever compound they want.
Yeah, they can use whatever tire they want, and we did not see anyone run the hards in Division One. For this race, I think it's either a hard. Did we? I didn't remember. Oh, in this race, yeah, there's only really two strats. I think it's hard, or throwing a medium stint in there if you can get the tires that far. Or apparently running hard and mediums at the same time.
Oh, there we have a couple more drivers running. Oh, it's Fishtail and Spilled Milk running their second Joker laps together. They ran their first Joker laps together as well on the last lap round. And you can see them as they come on in. On the last one, it looked like Fishtail had gotten really close while coming into the Joker and maybe could have even tried to make the pass. Spilled Milk goes really deep again, which allows Fishtail to catch up, but still not quite able to make the overtake in the Joker zone.
Yeah, I think Fish has decided that Milk is his buddy on this race. He's going to stick with him.
Yeah, Slipstream is your friend on this one. If you can find a buddy to race with, it can be to your advantage. If you, rather than just fighting with your competitor, if you can become frenemies for a little while, then maybe you can make up some time. They are back in 8th and 9th place, so they got some time that they need to make up. But man, look, Florinota, we are on lap 7. He is 9.7 seconds up. So Florinota just running away with this right now. Suddy Empire, though, still in P2.
Just set that fastest lap time of the race, 27.3 from Florinota.
Yeah, we are seeing that front left tire seems to be the most worn tire in this one so far. Suddy's still running with that rear end damage. So still trying to just run that out. Looks like we do have a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as Dad Leisure in 4th place has made his way up and is caught up to Jay Smith. And look at that, Oak in P5. Oak has had 2 incidents so far in this race. One in the first chicane, and then again shortly thereafter, getting into it with Lyric, is back up into P5, no damage. So he must have, I don't know if he pitted or was somehow able to avoid damage in each of those incidents he was involved in. But,
yeah, he hasn't pit, but he was in 11th place last time I saw him. Working back up to 5th, I think the Joker laps could have helped. I don't think he's taken it yet.
Yep, that could certainly explain it as well.
Also,
still nice to see him back up into the race.
Left to Pass started in last place, and he has made his way up to 6th.
Also a very nice improvement. Left to Pass, you had even mentioned he had not had too much practice in this other than, getting the combo set up, but hadn't practiced for this race. Was a late minute or a late second call up with Plaka getting 6. So Left to Pass you helping his team out when needed.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Oak has worked his way up to 4th place now.
I believe Empire just did his first Joker lap of the race as well, as I see him drop down to 5th.
Yes, he was up in P2. Oh, man, and we saw those 2 drivers go flying by. That was a really close one. But everybody stayed in their respective lanes.
That is so sketchy, yeah.
What I believe is that, especially with Empire and Florinota specifically, since they took the mediums on the front of their cars, they're most likely looking to do their 2 Joker laps on the first stint of tires, mostly because for some reason, Polyphony decided to program the off track on unused racing surfaces to cool down the tires a lot more than typical. So I think that's going to be the game plan for Empire and Florinota.
Yeah, we've done a 12 events in our Joker series, and I got to say, I've never noticed that it actually helps cool off your tires that much by going off in that extra section. So once again, you guys paying attention to all the details there. Impressive. But here we're on board with Oak, who looks to be, he's running down the right side of the track. I'm guessing he's going to be taking his Joker. Yep, you see him getting slowed down. And there we go. What's different, I mean, everybody's taken the chicane at Monza. I mean, that's typically what gets used when PD calls this track up. But what's different is when you're running the no chicane layout, you no longer have the markers and the brake indicators letting you know when to start braking for the chicane. You have to have your own visuals set up and ready to go in order to get that under braking done correctly. And we saw that with Fishtail and Spilled Milk, where Spilled Milk went pretty deep into the chicane both times he took it. He still got it woed down, but not quite as smoothly as you would if it was the normal chicane layout. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sal, I hadn't noticed that, so I got to give these drivers props for getting that chicane as well as they have so far. A couple maybe a little bit deep, but no penalties that I've seen either. So pretty solid race. Very clean race from what people.
Yeah, at least penalty-wise, haven't seen. You're absolutely correct. We haven't seen too many penalties at all. I know we saw quite a few penalties on Thursday. But oh man, look at Florinota's front left tire, almost completely dead. So he's not going to have too much more time left out on the track here. I gotta wonder if he's going to try to go beyond 10 or if he's just going to switch over to the hards to finish this off. Because if that medium is that dead after 10 laps, and if what we're saying is that the rear tire will wear even faster, then there's no way he's going to make those mediums last another 10 laps. There's Study Empire getting out of the Joker. And Oak as well.
I think he will be coming into the pits on this lap. So that's interesting. These
guys getting slowed down.
Are they going to be able to go medium tires to the end? This racing medium hard combination and then hards to the end, was it really worth it to put those mediums on the front of the car?
I think having the mediums on the front just made it so that you could go farther on the mediums. Oh, it has left to pass you, loses it coming out of Lesmo 2. Let's see that again. You see him getting through Lesmo 1 here. I think he gets through this just fine. And as he gets into Lesmo 2, trying to carry the speed because there's a long straightaway after this, and just gets the car out onto the edge and loses the rear end. Doesn't spin the car all the way around, but certainly got it into the barrier and has some front end damage.
That is one of my favorite places to crash on this track too. That corner.
Favorite places or frequent place?
I was being sarcastic. Yeah. That corner claims me more than any other in this track.
Study Empire, I believe, is our first person to jump into the pits. You can see that front left had like 2 pixels of tire wear left on it. I assume he's going to get that rear damage repaired, and he will be off and running. I believe Suddy has gotten both Jokers out of the way, so he should be good to go to the end after this one. One of those drivers that has the mediums in the front and the hards in the rear. Let's see what he comes out on. Another set of mediums. Mediums all around this time. Hey. So he's going to try to make those mediums last 10 laps. And there's Florinota, no front left tire left at all. Had to go through Parabolica with no tire grip.
And no fuel. Wow. He timed that I don't think he was
There.
planning on the tires going to 0, but he made it work.
And, that does show he made it through lap 11. So now he's going to try to do 9 laps. He might try to stick with those mediums. I mean, if we just saw Suddy come out with the mediums on, I think Florinota may be trying to do the same thing. Maybe have stretched the tires out just long enough. But Dad Leisure going to temporarily inherit the lead on those hard tires. Has a bit of tire left.
Oh.
But not
Dang,
a lot of
another
fuel, but it
lap.
looks like he's going to make a 12th lap.
So he had to have been doing a lot of fuel saving to have enough gas to go around another lap.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can see those top 2 drivers, both their tires are hurting quite a bit. Florinota back out on the track, currently sitting in P3. 8.7 seconds behind P2, which he will be able to re-inherit once the top 2 drivers come into the pits. And he did come out on the racing mediums, as we thought. So
what I'm seeing is that everyone post the first pit stop is taking a medium set. It looks like no one wants to chance it on the hards.
interesting with all that tire wear. Now, we did see that the difference in tire wear between the mediums and the hards has been greatly reduced since the new update. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but wasn't it that it used to be that if you could run, X number of laps on mediums, you could about double that to run it on hards. And now it seems to be much, much closer. The hards only give you another, 20, 30% more laps, not 100% more laps.
I've noticed that in my racing series with the Red Bull, mostly because that exact line of thinking was the standard in terms of getting all the settings down. But yes, it seems like the hard's ability of being durable has been greatly reduced, with the off hand also being that it doesn't seem like the tire performance has improved that much as well. So the hard's getting the real short end of the stick in terms of this update.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the hards never have really been all that viable. Most everybody always uses the better tire for the better amount of speed. It typically meant that the hards, and maybe this is why they nerfed it, is that the hards generally would outlast the fuel. Unless you jacked up the tire wear but reduced the fuel wear. And here we are. We got Oak up in P2 now. And I believe Oak has taken both of his jokers now as Empire moves his way up into P3. Looked like he split the uprights trying to get through those other drivers. I don't know if we can catch a replay of that. Looked like he went through. Yeah, here we go. There we are. So there we go, getting around Spilled Milk, who just came out of the pits. Dad Leisure, I believe, also just came out of the pits. So here we go, tucking the inside. Has to thread the needle between Dad Leisure and Spilled Milk there. But yeah, back up into P3 before the chicane. Ooh, that was a risky move, but it seems to have paid off.
Yeah, so everyone has taken their pit. So I think, but we don't know if everyone has taken their joker back. So we may not be looking at net positions at this point. Really curious to see how that joker is going to change and throw a twist in things here on this last half of this race.
I believe Florinota has yet to take any joker laps.
Yeah, so being 30 seconds ahead, if he still has both jokers to take, that would put him still net about 10 seconds to the lead, but that is much closer than 30. There we see Jay Smith coming to take one of his joker laps. Not sure if that's his first or his second. It is so hard to keep track of who's taken them, and especially now that in this one they have to take 2 of them.
Well, we know Milk and Fish
War caught
have
up with him
taken theirs.
really quick.
Oh, wow. That was fast, Pat. So Milk and Fish have taken theirs, so, Jonathan's going to have to fight to get those positions back.
Oh, man, that was close. Jay Smith came out of the joker. I think The direction is that when you are both going into the Joker and coming out of the Joker, you're supposed to stay all the way off to the right and let the faster drivers go around the outside. But Jay Smith swung quite a ways out, and yeah, the driver had to take some. I think it was War there had to take some action to try to avoid running into the back of it. Wasn't quite sure where he was going. Luckily, they did not get into each other. But here we go. We got a battle for P3 between Empire, Dad Leisure, and Spilled Milk. Only half a second between Empire and Dad Leisure. Dad Leisure definitely going to be in the slipstream as they're coming down the long straight. That slipstream is highly effective in these cars at this track. You can see that Delta coming down. He's got it under 3/10. Oh, and Empire needed to go and take his Joker. He was off to the side. I can't tell if, yeah, he does have rear end damage. I believe that there was contact.
Oh. Did Dad pick up front damage at the same time?
I think Dad Leisure did not realize that Empire was going into the Joker, was trying to stay in that slipstream and was continuing to catch him. And then when Empire got on the brakes, he did not get damaged. So somehow,
Wow.
Empire got rear end damage, but Suddy did not. Oh, Suddy Empire already had rear end damage before that incident. Okay.
Wow, that was
Or
that
no,
was scary.
no, there's no damage there in the replay. So, yeah, as they're coming in, yep, he ends up getting it from that contact. So weird glitch in the game. Suddy Empire giving some damage, but still in P6, still in a respectable spot. But man, he had been running up in P2 for quite some time. Which, by the way, P2 Oak K Naranjo all the way up to P2 after two early incidents that seem to have put him out of this race. Back up in P2, 4.7 seconds ahead of Dad Leisure.
He's cooking.
He is cooking with gas, but we got Dad Leisure and Spilled Milk in a battle for that last podium position. This could be great for Oak. If these two battle it out, then Oak can kind of stay away. If these two decide to work together, though, that could allow them to catch up and maybe take P2 and P3 away from Oak. Let's see if they become frenemies for a few laps or if they decide that they're just going to battle it out for the final podium spot.
If I was them, I would totally work together. Yeah, let's work up there and catch up to Oak and get ourselves on the maybe a 2-3 podium.
I do the same. There isn't much of a reason to fight at this stage, knowing that Oak is right there in front of them. As well as just the general idea of information, right? I don't believe Dad Leisure or Spilled Milk took their Joker laps at the same time as Oak. So, they could be hoping that Oak still needs to do one extra Joker lap, which, if that was actually the case, they would be in contention for the P2. Obviously, we know it's not, but that's the idea of the drivers, how much information they have on their end, and how are they going to act upon it.
It looks like PhD Lyrics sitting in the pits may have had an on-track incident causing some hardware damage and ends up probably going to park it for the rest of the event. But here we are. We see, is this Suddy Empire again?
Florinota.
Oh, this is our leader, Florinota. Oh, gets a half-second pen coming out of the chicane there. Half-second probably isn't going to hurt him too much. He still has, well, he's now down to a 20-second lead. So Florinota must have done one of their Joker laps. As a reminder, the Joker laps cannot be done on the first lap of the race or during an in or out lap. Now, granted, all the pits are probably done, so they don't have to worry about that anymore. But they can take their Jokers all the way up until the last lap of the race if they wish. So here we are. Florinota is going to start lap 18. 3 laps left to go. Looks like he is on the right-hand side. Does have his blinker on, so he's going to take that second Joker, get it out of the way. And let's watch that Delta come down. He currently has an 18-second lead. And by the time he gets to that next chicane, it will likely be less than 10 seconds. See the other drivers quite a ways behind. There's Oak just coming down the main straight. And as he gets to that Joker section, we'll see that time suddenly drop really quickly. There we go. Down to 10 seconds, 9 seconds. Down to the 8-second range. Yep, lost about 10 seconds going in there. And Oak also on a purple sector there, so really trying to put the hammer down to see if he can catch up. 8 more seconds to go, though. Oh, and here we still have the fight for P3 between Spilled Milk and Dad Leisure. They were side by side there in the chicane. They come on back out, and they are still nose to tail. Now, once they get through the Lesmos, we'll see if they team up again. But I'm not sure if that was an attempted pass or if that was a misjudgment on the brakes. We got a replay here as they get through turn 1. You see Spilled Milk on the back of Dad Leisure as they get to the braking zone. Dad Leisure with a big defensive line. Yeah, it looks like Spilled Milk just much later on the brakes does get around him. Good, clean pass. Able to make that work. Well
the
done
olive
by
branch
Spilled Milk.
was not extended. No olive branches today.
No olive branches. Well, let's see. Who knows? Maybe Spilled Milk is just like, you know what? Follow me. Push me along. I got the pace.
Maybe.
But Suddy Empire back in P9, Drobo P10, Yannick, one of our early favorites back in P11 and left to pass you. The creator of the VIPGT World Championship and a substitute driver in this race back in P12. Here we go. We check back in with that battle between Spilled Milk and Dad Leisure. Here they go, coming into that chicane where the pass was made. Dad Leisure now side by side with Spilled Milk. He's going to try to make the same kind of pass work. Big purple lap, 6/10 up. Can't quite seem to get around as they get in there. Spilled Milk with the power down. Gets that all sorts of sideways coming out of the chicane, but keeps it straight ahead. Keeps his lead over Dad Leisure. If we watch that again, looks like a carbon copy in reverse of what we saw in the last lap. Dad Leisure on the outside, Spilled Milk with the defensive line. Dad Leisure not quite able to be quite as late on the brakes. Spilled Milk able to go in deep and hold on to that. You can see him drifting out of the chicane on the exit and has now seemed to pull away a little bit coming out of that corner.
Yeah, they played a little bit of chicken, and Dad smartly, I think, pulled out here right at the end because Milk was not going to give it up.
So Spilled Milk fought hard for that position. It appeared that he wanted to keep it for sure. But here we go. We got a battle for P10 between Suddy Empire and Drobo as well. Remember, Suddy Empire has a bit of rear end damage, so that's going to give Drobo quite an advantage as we get to this long straight here. Suddy Empire was in 6th as he came out of the chicane with that damage. He's dropped 3 spots already and is at the risk of losing yet another.
We're going to see a conversion point on this last lap as we had drivers that pitted on lap 10, pitted on lap 11, for those medium tires. And you can see, like, Drobo's left rear, 10% left, and Suddy's 5% or less. Are these guys going to be able to make it to the end of their tire?
I think we saw on Thursday there were a few drivers that crossed the line with no tire left. Florinoda here, as he's finishing up his last lap, only has about a quarter lap left to go. Still has just a couple pixels of left rear tire left to go. It looks like that is going to make it till the end, but just barely. And remember, Florinoda did pit a lap later, so his tires may be a little bit better than some of his competitors behind. But Florinoda going to bring it across the line as the leader and the winner of this Division II race. And Oak, what a drive for Oak, coming back to P2 after those early incidents. Also, just wearing that left rear out. Looks like it is going to be totally dead as he crosses the line. Spilled Milk with that hard-fought battle to finish out the podium in P3. Dad Leisure in P4. IORT Fishtail going to try to finish off in P5. Jay Smith, who used the catch-up to try to take the pole of this race, going to come across in P6. War finishing off in P7. Scarlord P8. Drobo in P9. Yannick up to P10. Suddy Empire crossing the line in P11.
Sideways.
Sideways.
Crossing the line sideways.
Left to pass you. Again, a last-minute substitution for this race. Going to come across the line in P12. Was having a pretty good race till he got spun around, or till he spun himself around coming out of Lesmo 2, and then driving Crooner to finish this one off. Has no left rear tire already, and he hasn't even gotten to Parabolica yet. Going to try to get around without spinning it out. We did see some drivers yesterday do exactly this. You go through Parabolica, you got to slow her way down when that left rear is gone. And I mean, luckily there's no other drivers to pass him, so
Well,
gives us an exciting finish.
what a
Tried to
place
spin across the line, but did it way too soon.
he's
But
going to
there we
be
go,
very
second
excited
Mercedes.
later when he realizes that everyone watched that spin.
Yeah. There we go, Florinoda, our winner of this Division II race on Saturday night for round 5 in our Pick a Joke series for this one. Man, that was quite the race. I mean, Florinoda got shot out of a cannon there on the start, and ended up doing the multi-tire strat. I don't know if we can hear from uh, if Left can chime in the chat here as to whether or not that was a legal move. I don't. I think we all were under the impression it is not against the rules, but weren't expecting that to pop up. But congratulations to Florinoda. He made that work, finishing it off as the leader of this race. And I mean, we saw some real drama there on the first lap, and then it's kind of settled down from there. It actually ended up being a pretty clean race after those first race incidents. What did you think about that, Ezreal?
Uh, I think if it wasn't a rule before, it might be a rule next race. We'll we'll see what Left Path thinks about it, and what all the other drivers think about it too. Uh, but I congrats to our podium winners. Great race from all of you guys, and I gotta give some props to Dad and Fish for putting up a nice fourth and fifth place.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so here we go. We got the race results up. Hovercraft, you able to take us through our finishing order?
Of course. My good old teammate Florinoda picked him up last PhD season. This time around, he's gonna get a great win with that mixed tire strategy at the beginning. Oak, despite the early incidents, able to nab a P2 at the end of the day. Spilled milk, hard fought battle towards the end with Dad Leisure, able to round out that podium. Dad Leisure has a settle for fourth. IRT Fishtail actually had a really good race. I believe he started in P10, comes home with a P5. Jay Smith, the pole position power up, does him decently well, nabbing a P6. War with a P7. VIP Scarlord and a P8 as we go over to the second page. Drobo, P9, damage all across the race. Yannick, P10, unable to really get a good result, unfortunately, despite early success in the season. Empire, P11, big incident towards the middle of the race. VIP left to pass in P12. Driving a crooner in P13. PhD Lyric, again, incidents plagued him. P14, rounding out the grid.
And it looks like Left to Pass You has the fastest lap in this one with a 1:26.321. So showing that he had the speed, just wasn't able to be consistent enough to get a good finish out of that one. All right, so
Really good.
man, I mean, we already shared our thoughts a little bit on this race, but a chaotic start, a good, solid chunk in the middle where everybody ran nice and clean. We did see some incidents. I mean, we talked about this during the race. A number of the drivers, it was impressive that they were all able to get their braking points down and get into that Joker nice and cleanly. But then at the end, we saw one big incident which ended up impacting Suddy Empire the most. Got some rear end damage when he got hit by, I believe it was Dad Leisure heading into the Joker there. So not a breaking point problem, but somebody who didn't realize that the driver ahead was going to be taking the Joker. That's something that you got to be mindful of when you're doing these Joker laps. Is you've got drivers that are going to be on a totally different strategy, and you get that laser focus where you're trying to stay in that slipstream, and you can see the time coming down. It's like if I just stay in there as long as I can, I'm going to catch him, and then all of a sudden he's on the brakes and we saw that play out here, which will obviously come with experience if people do more of these Joker lap kind of races. But for this one, I'm sure it looked as if it may have caught Dad Leisure off guard a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right, Sal. I mean, it this is a lot of us have never done these kinds of races, so it's a new twist, a new spin on it. And you're right. I think he was just laser focused in that draft, and thankfully saw what was happening. You know, so he didn't just plow right into him, but unfortunately, yeah, that weird Gran Turismo osmosis transferred some damage over there to him. It sucks for Study.
Yeah,
So
I
what
mean,
a
thankfully,
recovery.
Studdy didn't spin out. He didn't get rocketed into the wall and get engine damage. We see that happen before with stuff like this. So it could have been worse. I know that's not a great consolation when you end up finishing back in the pack, but it certainly could have been worse. However, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, overall, the race is great. Really briefly on that incident, it seemed really weird because on the replay, it looked like he didn't lose any speed despite the supposed contact. So, stewards are obviously going to look over it, but I'm starting to lean towards the fact that it could have been just, net code, just due to the evidence on hand very quickly. But overall, a really fun race. A very big surprise strategy that I think none of us were expecting for the beginning, especially with Florinoda and Empire. And then there was a really good group of battles up and down the pack, right? I felt like everyone was involved in some sort of humongous battle to try to get that last position. And it's great. I think Division Two had a very good offering, and I'm even more excited to see what the Division One guys has for us in the waiting wings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that Division Two race went by really quick. I mean that was 20 laps, and we've already got that one wrapped up. So Division One's coming up next, where they're going to be at Catalunya, and we'll go over that when we get back as well. But a great race coming up, where they've also got Joker laps at a track where you would. We're going to be running a no chicane layout, and the chicane's going to end up being the Joker. So should be an exciting one that we have up on deck. But for now, I think we're going to go ahead and take a break, let everybody refill their water bottles, get some rest, and we'll be back in 10, 15 minutes or so in order to get the Division One underway. So stay tuned.
The noise of the French countryside has faded. The trophies have been packed away, and the teams have barely had time to breathe, because now they arrive in Spain. Welcome to Barcelona, a circuit carved into the hills of Catalonia, a track that has tested some of the greatest drivers in motorsport for decades and where every corner asks the same question: how badly do you want it? This is Division I, and the weapon of choice is the McLaren P1, a machine with enough performance to make your spine question its life choices. A machine that can unleash its fury on track and can punish anyone who gets it wrong. Round 5 of the VIPGT World Championship offers another opportunity. Every team knows preparation is everything if they stand a chance to go toe-to-toe with big pace. Le Mans demanded endurance. Barcelona demands precision. And when those lights go out, Catalonia will decide who came here to race and who came here to win. Qualifying is next.
All right, welcome back to Division I of VIP GT World Championship, Saturday night races, brought to you in all its glory by Upshift Media. We have the other half of our Division I drivers tonight at Barcelona in a car. Well, to say it's fun is quite an overstatement. It's torture, to be honest, but the people who have figured it out are going to be this group here, and they are going to be able to take this machine, get around this track 26 times on tires that can barely make a 30. So we are at the no chicane layout of Catalonia and Barcelona. This is our Joker race. So this is the no chicane version. Drivers are required to take 2 Joker laps throughout the 26 laps. They can't do it on the end lap or out lap of the pits or lap 1. But first, we're going to have a 10-minute qualifier to see how fast these guys can get around the track on soft tires, which I can say with a lot of certainty there's not going to be very many of those in the actual race. So we're going to see the fastest lap qualifying for sure. Yeah. So hey, before we get to our grid and our qualifying, I want you guys to like and subscribe to Shift Media. They're doing such a good job bringing all this action and races to masses tonight and the last month and a half. We've got rounds to come, so like and subscribe. Hit that little notify me button so the next time it just pops up and lets you know as soon as these guys are live. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So we're going to hand this off to Sal Hovercraft to take us through the grid and see who we're going to be seeing tonight.
Of course, thank you very much. Get Busy and Rodrigo are going to be the big pace representatives for tonight, the team leading the Division I Team Championship. So let's see if they're able to continue the streak. For the S7R Titan squad, it's going to be Rusty Maggots and Mr. Racing for tonight, and then the wild cards, Wade and Aweko, the 2 Americans. And then going over to page 2. And of course, let us look over the points on the top right-hand corner of all these driver cars. They are the driver rankings on the motorsportleagues.com website. 65 on here on the first page is the highest number for Rodrigo, followed by 62 from Rusty Maggots after a great performance at the Le Mans round. And then his teammate being 52 with Mr. Racing 40. 59 from Get Busy from Big Pace, and then 50 and 28 representing the wild cards with Wade and Weko. For the Ghost team, it's going to be Dudabob and Drogal. Dudabob with a 68 rating, Drogal with a 54. Cyrus Nicky, the man from VIP, as well as JP Scale, both on Team GoTP. 59 rating for Cyrus and 64 for JP Scale. And then going over to RPM Bandits higher with a number 64 rating. Void, 74 rating, quite high right there. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the other two RPM Bandit team members. Player with 46, and then Huge with 34. But I believe Player might be out for tonight, and I believe he is being replaced by Left to Pass, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we did hear from production that Left to Pass is going to be pulling some double duty here tonight, subbing for Plaka in the first race, and then subbing for Player in this Division I race. So, running these McLaren P1s around this track, the general word on the street from the drivers is that this car is a handful to drive. So we'll see just how well they have to handle that. But as Azrael mentioned at the beginning, you guys please remember to like and subscribe here. If you're watching this over on the McNaughty YouTube channel, we do have pinned in the chat over there a link to the Upshift Media channel where we're doing our main broadcast. So definitely go follow over there. After you've hit like and subscribe over at McNaughty's, come on over to Upshift Media, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell over here so you can watch all the league racing action. Also, go check out motorsportleagues.com where you can get all the information on those driver ratings that we were just talking about, along with all the different combos we have coming up. We got 7 different weeks of racing going on, and then a finals, which is essentially an 8th week coming up. So you can get all the information there at motorsportleagues.com. And if you want to help support what we're doing here at Upshift Media Studios, we do have a donation link pinned in the chat. If the spirit moves you, by all means, send us a donation. We're trying to get this thing up and off the ground and try to give you guys all the best racing action that we can. But man, with all that said, here we are at Catalunya. It sounds like the cars are all out on the grid. They are starting their qualifying session. We got VIP's Doodle Bob leading the field. He's got we got the windshield wiper on. We saw this on Thursday too. We had one driver with the windshield wiper on. I believe, if I recall, they won the race. So maybe one of those follow the leader. Everybody going to run with their windshield wiper on, thinking it's going to make them faster?
So, funny story, a little behind the scenes. Bacon Dance is my teammate. He runs every race with the windshield wipers on. It's like his thing. And ironically, if it rains, he turns them off. Makes no sense to me. But the guy is fast, and I think maybe Doodle Bob is trying to channel a little bit of bacon in this race.
May I ask what view he uses while racing?
He is in the cockpit, so he sees that windshield wiper the entire time.
Oh my God. I think he has a mental problem.
I agree, man. There's something wrong with him. I jumped into a practice race with him, and he was on track by himself with the windshield wipers on. It's just a thing, man.
Sounds like a psychopath. But whatever works for you. I totally understand. Somebody wants to have their thing, and that's certainly a thing to have. It's a talking point, and here we are talking about it. So there, attention given.
So I did this race on Thursday. I can give you a little bit of insight.
Yeah, absolutely.
On what's happening here, but I do want to call out some drivers that I'm watching. Cyrus Nicky is rapid at this track. He loves Barcelona. He's got a good grip on the car. I think we're going to see fast times from him. Boydzy, of course, very rapid. Higher place, I've seen put some of the fastest laps in all the practice sessions that I've watched come from him. Doodle also very solid. Everyone on this grid has got a good chance to put something on the podium. Those are the people that I'm kind of watching.
Yeah, and we can't go without mentioning Big Pace. I mean, they've certainly been the class of the field throughout this season. They did have a bit of a bobble at the last endurance race. But overall, they have certainly had the pace at pretty much every track we've gone to. I'll be anxious to see just what they're able to do here at Catalunya. I mean,
You
yeah,
know,
we got
they're
what? If looks could kill and Hugh, if looks could kill, that's Get Busy, isn't it?
yeah, Get Busy is it looks to kill. He's also like super fast. And you know, when I'm looking at dailies, he's in that top 50, top 100 in the world, like almost every week on the time. So he's very quick. You know, honestly, the big pace has put such a gap in points on everyone else on the field. I think everyone's kind of given up on like beating it. They're fighting for second through fourth. You know, those guys are close, and then you know, fifth through seventh are close, and so there's a lot of little mini fights going on for those positions right now.
Yeah, there we go. As the first set of times are coming in, it looks like we have Regalado and Get Busy are P1 and P2 on the speed chart right now. AMS Huge not far back in P6, but Higher Place, who you mentioned, also up there in P3, not far off. Regalado, the only one in the 33s so far. If Looks Could Kill
Yeah,
or Get Busy is a 34.4 and a Higher Place a 34.7. Distinct Voidsy, who's 2 spots away, also has a 34.7.
yeah,
So we've
third
got at
through
least
fifth,
3
and
drivers
then
all within a tenth.
yeah, a 33.8 is super fast. Um, that's very very fast.
Do you recall what your qualifying time was on Thursday?
Well, me, I didn't do great. I did a low 36.
Okay.
Um, if I recall, the fastest guy was a low 34. I don't think anyone hit the 33. So that's I don't think I've seen a 33 at all in any practice. So
Ooh,
that's very
Mr.
good.
Racing off into the dirt there.
Oh
Looks like he
man.
overdrove that coming into the final corner. Sorry to cut you off there, but we have a quick replay as he comes in. Oh, yeah, the rear end snaps out on him as he went into that corner. The second to last corner there ends up getting off into the
Yeah.
kitty litter. Looks like he's going to take that
With
opportunity just to come into the pits since that lap is ruined, put on some fresh softs.
yeah, with the update, it's like the gravel is 12 feet deep. Like it's so slow trying to get out of it too.
Yeah, and the fact that it makes your tires dirty ends up not only ruining that lap, but ends up ruining quite a bit of your next lap as well. But it looks like Regalado there was going quite slow. I think we saw on Saturday some people executing what we like to call the Hako strategy, something we learned back in NRL season 1, uh, where you need to burn off some fuel. Just go around the
Mhm.
track, leave the car in second or third gear, ride the brake, burn off some fuel, see if you can put in a last lap
Well,
uh, dash to get the fastest lap. Yeah, go ahead.
yes. So to add here, it actually doesn't work with this combination because the battery drains so fast, and you need the battery to go. So what you're going to see are people getting their 2 laps in, and I'm kind of surprised Doodle's still going, but and then quitting the pits and going back out because it recharges your battery.
Mm. So going
So
into
the
the pit
fuel,
actually recharges your battery as opposed to riding the
but
brakes around.
you got to quit to the pit to get your battery recharged. It, the only way to charge the battery in this car is to half throttle through corners. Braking doesn't do it. Kind of weird.
Hmm.
So there was a comment in the chat of what makes this car so dangerous, and it's because there's over 1,000 horsepower crammed uh, into this car, and when you if you just floor it, it's gonna spin. If you brake too hard, it's going to spin, um, and it's also going to kill the tires at the same time if you're too hard on the throttle. So it's really tricky to keep it going. The way to keep it the fastest is to get it pointed and then go. You can't really accelerate on corners too much um, without just killing your tires. Of course, we're in qualifying, so it doesn't matter. They're just trying to go as fast as they can. They can't do that.
Gotcha. Good insight. Another thing to point out is that this car also has DRS. The DRS stands for the drag reduction system. So the drivers can always engage that. What that does is it flattens out the rear wing and lowers the drag on the car, allowing them to go a little bit faster on some of those long straights. Now, there's not a lot of long straights on this track, but you can see that that DRS down in the lower right, close to the turbo input there. You can see it'll light up white when the DRS is enabled or able to be engaged, and then it turns red if the driver is actually engaging it. In fact, now that we're getting onto the straight, we should see a higher place engage his DRS, and there we go. We see that it's red, and that rear wing, it's tilted back a bit, which reduces the drag on the car and allows it to go just a little bit faster. You'll see as he gets into the corner, that wing is going to dip back forward again. There we go, which gives him more downforce in the rear end of the car as he gets into the corners. So the drivers have to try to manage that as well as the throttle.
And the DRS in this car only activates if you have less than 5-degree steering angle applied to your wheel. So it's very few spots where the DRS is actually effective. It's only like 2 or 3 spots.
We see a driver here gets a penalty trying to get through that little chicane area after the backstretch. Half-second penalty to get busy. Who's currently P3 on the speed chart in qualifying here. Only 20 seconds left in qualifying, so for a lot of these drivers, this is going to be their last lap. Regalado still currently the only driver under the minute 34 mark. A higher place has moved his way up into P2. If looks could kill was in P2, but a higher place has been able to jump him only by about a tenth of a second. Number of drivers in the pits looks like they are opting out of the last lap, but here comes Regalado trying to get to the line, see if he can improve on that 33.8. Oh, and a 34 flat, another pole winning lap. So we watch him as he darts through these last few corners. You watch his throttle and watch his steering inputs. Big drift there in that second of the last corner, but holds on to it. Nice and smooth through the last corner. You can see, I mean, doesn't improve on his time, but a 34 flat is still the fastest time on the grid.
Crazy fast. Yeah, P1 through 6, under 35 sec, 135 is a rapid lobby. And I mean, I don't see anyone in the 36s.
It's like Doodle is up on his best time.
Almost 7/10 blue. What are we gonna see?
That could put him down into the 34 range. Let's see. He's got just 2 more corners left to go. Comes through. Oh, gets a little wide. I don't know if that's going to be a pen.
I think he's safe.
It looks like it's not. It looks like he saved it. 8 tenths better. Jumps up to P6 with a 34.6.
Nice job.
Looks could kill still out on a final, or no, he is on an out lap. So this is not a qualifying lap. In fact, I don't see any other cars out running fast. So it looks like we are just letting the time run out. About a minute left to go before all the cars end up having to go back into the pits, and we will get the official results. But Regalado currently sitting at the top of the standings. The first driver we've seen get a sub 134 in qualifying across both Thursday and Saturday here. Impressive time, Azriel.
Very solid. This is going to be a great race. You know, there's a couple different strategies here. We've seen some one stops, which is very difficult to do in this car at this track. I actually managed to do a no stop on hards in practice, but it was very slow, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's
totally
always
should have though. I should have. I would have been all for the glory. Everyone would have been saying my name afterward. But I wouldn't have done nearly as good.
I think it would have gone faster if you had your windshield wipers activated throughout that run. You know,
dude.
Well, there you
Right.
go.
That's worth at least a couple cents.
I mean, there's the secret sauce. I mean, per lap. I mean, certainly. Right. I mean, part of the drag reduction system, apparently. But yeah, I mean, we've got some really fast drivers out there, like you mentioned, Azrael. I mean, everybody with a really close time. I mean, this is a very tight field that we see. I believe once we get the official results up, we can go through those times again. But man, really nice and tight. I would imagine that this race is going to be a banger from start to finish. I mean, Division One has certainly not disappointed throughout the season so far. Even with Big Pace having kind of run away with the points championship, we have certainly seen battles up and down throughout, uh, throughout the grid all season long. So I'd imagine that today is going to be no different. Again, as we wait for those results to come up, I will once again remind everybody to please like and subscribe out there. If you don't have the ability to donate, I mean, a like and a subscribe is free and also greatly helps us out an awful lot, and we greatly appreciate it. Um, oh, it sounds like they are resetting the grid. Uh, they must have had an entry that had to be switched around, so we aren't going to get the official results. So we're just waiting for them to get all the drivers lined up in order, and then we will end up getting this race underway. Much like at Monza, Catalunya here does have a chicane as its first set of corners. Not quite as tight and difficult as Monza, but still another big bottleneck. And then right after that chicane, you have like the longest right-hander in the world. Do we expect to see, the same kind of carnage that we saw at Monza Hovercraft?
Uh, Possibly. I don't really think that's
That's
in the deck, but I would give a high five to any of the drivers who tried it, but I don't really expect them to be happy with the result afterwards. I think
that
we
was a
are
very
going to be.
non-committal answer.
I
The
think
you
overall
have
we're probably just going to
I,
see the typical ones. Sorry, Azrael.
you have to brake so much earlier than you think in this car. I I fully expect there to be a turn one carnage. That's my prediction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been really
honestly.
impressive just how much practice these guys have put in, and with this being Division One, it will not be a surprise to be surprised that they get through it cleanly. We like to see a good set of clean races. I mean, granted, some carnage is always really fun to watch. Makes great for replays and shorts later on, but who knows? We'll see. We know as
Right.
they get to the Joker lap section here, once again, it is the chicane part of the track that they will not be taking for the rest of the laps around, but for 2 laps, they do have to take that chicane. And it's really kind of tricky because all the drivers are kind of diving towards that same apex, but the Joker Lap driver is going at it a little bit slower. And once again, they're supposed to stay pulled way off to the right as they approach it so that there's not that conflict. Now, the Joker exit is another story. We've got the cars entering the pits and the cars exiting the Joker are all going to be trying to take the same place. But here we are out on the grid. Looks like they are about to get this started. Once again, we have a grid start. As Azrael said, these cars have tons of horsepower. It is really hard to get these off the line, and away they go. I don't think I saw anybody jump the gun this time. Nobody's spinning out either, but a higher place up at the top. I believe he must have used one of his cards in order to, maybe that's why they had to
Mhm.
reset the grid to get a higher place up into pole position, up ahead of Regalado as they come into the first couple of corners. A little bit of too wide back there and a little bit of door rubbing, but nobody really lost it in the braking zone. Everybody now into
Looking
that
good.
fast, long right hander as they come on around nice and tight, too wide still a little bit near the back between the eighth and ninth place, but a higher place has been able to maintain that lead so far in this first quarter of the track, but not far behind is Regalado and Doodlebob. Back in eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, they're still too wide, still trying to get this sorted out all the way back to P14, 3 wide there for a moment as they get through the tight left-hander, as they get their way onto the backstretch through this little tricky chicane, which is so difficult to not lose the rear end, especially in a car like this. You got this fast right-hander onto the second longest part of the track as they get into the heavy braking zone at the very end here. Doodlebob kind of all back and forth, going to try to get the pass on a higher place as they get into the braking zone. Going to try to do the switchback, gets it executed perfectly. Doodlebob with a great pass on a higher place there in the braking zone. Oh, I hope as this kind of gets stretched out, we can maybe see that again. That was beautiful to watch.
Wow. Very
Bob
good
on
pick.
the softs compared to pretty much everyone else running on the mediums from the looks of it.
Wow, a soft runner.
Okay. That
Now those
is.
softs are going to burn up real fast. Azrael, did
Oh,
we see anybody run the softs? I don't know that we saw anybody do it
yeah.
on Thursday, or if they did, it wasn't very long. But here we go. Let's watch this replay quick as Doodle Bob again on the soft tires, able to brake a little bit later. It watches a higher place, just kind of dive it in deep, but Doodle Bob able to cut it back with those soft tires and gets that pass done relatively easily and starts to drive away. Already has a 1.8 second lead on a higher place, who is still in P2 ahead of Regalado.
So only one person ran softs at the beginning of the race Thursday, and that was Supa Sapito. And he had to pit on lap 4 because they were just shredded at that point. But Supa was not at the front of the grid. VIP has put himself in the lead in clean air. What is he going to be able to do with soft tires? Put some room between the rest of the grid. It's a really crazy play. So very curious to see what happens.
Yeah, we will see. It looks like he has gotten, I mean, even just looking at the track map in the upper right, he has gotten quite the lead over the rest of the pack. But a higher place still holding on to that P2 spot ahead of Regalado. But Doodle Bob, yeah, 2.8 seconds up the grid there. Again, the windshield wiper, it's a cheat code.
I think Doodle Bob's team put him on the pole as well. And Higher Place also, their team used the power up. But because Higher Place had a higher qualifying time, he went first.
Well, I think Regalado was starting side by side with a higher place, as we see him trying to take the position back from a higher, going down the inside. Salamander, over to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Another late break into that first corner and was able to make it stick. Able to get out of there. They're now going through the long right-hander, but is able to get that place back from a higher place. Now up into P2. Going to see if he can get Doodle Bob. Looks like the replay here. Oh, we got it just after getting past there. We have P4 here getting a little squirrely coming out of the chicane. Trying to keep it down on the apex. That's Cyrus Nicky, but still holding on to those top few drivers in P4. Oh, trying to get a move on a higher place, gets a better run out of that last exit. Not quite able to hold that spot as they get into this tricky little chicane here. Tucks back in behind a higher place. Here they go back onto the backstretch, still trying to stay within that slipstream. Activating that DRS, has a bit of a run. Let's see if he tries to make a move going into the braking zone. Tries to a higher place with a block there, kind of a late block. They did not get into each other, though. Cyrus Nicky not able to get on the brakes late enough, not quite confident enough to get that thing slowed down, especially with that tight left-hander. Oh, and a half-second penalty for AMS. Huge. Let's see if we can catch a replay of how he was able to get that penalty. Gets through that tight left-hander and, oh, goes a bit wide, trying to get on the gas. Get a better exit out of the corner. Unfortunately, that's going to have cost him. Half-second penalty.
I think
His real-world teammate get busy right behind him. Oh, and Cyrus Nicky trying to go for the move on Doodle Bob. Did Doodle Bob end up running his Joker?
I was about to say, I think he might have taken a Joker, causing him to lose so much time and down to positions. I'm wondering if Doodle Bob wants to commit a one-stop, but going on to the hards for a second stint.
That may be. Running the Joker while on the softs is going to be the smart play. He probably didn't get quite enough of a lead to make it work where he would still stay out there in front, but still probably getting that Joker out of the way, running the most speed through it, burn those softs up, get it done, and then get that pit out of the way. And here we are side by side between 5th, 6th, and 7th. A higher place back to P5 now. Was up in P2, getting into the grass there a little bit. We see, he went wide on the corner before, giving If Looks Could Kill the run. If Looks Could Kill not quite able to make that work. Higher place battles back, able to hold on to that spot, at least for now, but likely has some dirty tires. Still sitting up in P5, right behind AMS Huge, who has served his penalty. Cyrus Nicky up in P3. Regalado still holding on to the lead. Doodle Bob going to jump into the pits at the end of lap 4. Same thing that Azrael mentioned that we saw in the race on Thursday. Soft tire runner, only able to make 4 laps work out of that.
Yeah,
So 22 laps left
right.
to go.
Doodle did do his Joker lap on lap 3, so he his lap times were 5 seconds slower.
Well, there you go. That's 1 Joker out of the way. As a reminder, drivers do need to do 2 Jokers throughout the race. So he does have 1 more to try to execute. But Regalado up into the lead. Was the provisional pole winner until the power-up was used. Cyrus Nicky, P2, AMS Huge in P3, a higher place P4. And if looks could kill, also known as Get Busy in P5. FAF Wade not too far behind. It looks like all these drivers are still pretty close together. This hasn't really stretched out, short of Doodle Bob running away with it a little bit with the racing softs. But with everybody else on racing mediums, these guys are keeping it pretty tight. Go ahead, Ezra.
I'll give you a little insight here, some behind-the-scenes action. If you run this car on a higher fuel map, it saves the tires a tremendous amount. And we're seeing a disparate here between 1 through 5. So P1 is running probably fuel map 3. Cyrus Nicky is running fuel map 1. If you look at their 2 tires, very different.
His tires are way more eaten up than Regalado's. Regalado's got about a quarter or a third of that left rear. AMS Huge about a third, but Cyrus Nicky's got half of that left rear already gone.
So Regalado, Huge, and higher place are probably going for a 1 speed. They're going to go medium, probably pit around lap 11 to 12, and then the last pass, the tires last long. Cyrus Nicky can't do that. He's going to be going for a 2-stop, probably medium, or medium soft, if he can pull it off.
You know,
like you said. Nope, go ahead, Hover.
I want to point out, that's FAF Wade going down the inside.
What a move.
Spicy little move there. Dive to the inside. I don't know that Mr. Racing or a higher place saw that coming. Take us through that, Hovercraft.
Getting a better exit off the start of Sector 2. A higher place just left the door open, went to sleep, and FAF Wade woke him up with a move down the inside. Nothing for a higher place to respond with. Uncomfortable with this starting set of mediums, despite the wonderful qualifying performance he got. I just wanted to point out, the fuel map system is a very odd system in Gran Turismo, right? Because a lot of people kind of, how do I say it? They want to use traction control for better control in the car. Obviously, they use fuel map to save fuel. But the way but the fuel map does directly save tires, just in a very different way, right? The traction control only stops your wheels from excessive wheel spin, but it doesn't do anything in terms of putting force into the wheels or controlling it. That's why the fuel map is actually doing quite a lot for some of these drivers in terms of saving the tires. It's because it's directly reducing the force that's being output onto the tires. The tires are still gripping regardless of the traction control being turned on or not. But with those running the fuel map higher, it's reducing the overall load that the rear tires have to conform to throughout a race distance.
Yeah,
good explanation.
You're right.
Yeah, I would imagine. I wonder how many of these drivers are manipulating the fuel map throughout their lap. Obviously, when you get onto the long straights, once you've got the car pointed straight, then changing the fuel map to 1 will certainly get you up to speed better. But as you're coming out of corners, like you said, if you want to reduce that fuel map just so you to control the wheel spin, control the tire wear, keep the tire temperatures down, it's a lot to try to manipulate. I mean, you're already trying to hit your apex. You're already trying to not hit the other cars. To also be manipulating the fuel map. Do we think any of the drivers are actually going that far with it?
I do suspect there were some drivers on Thursday that were doing that. Some of the F7R guys, I think, were. But overall, the car has so much torque. It's getting into the power band. Oh, we got a nice Joker lap happening here from Huge.
Oh,
Um,
Huge goes way wide coming out.
he's coming right into traffic. Oh, someone went off. No, more Jokers. That's what's happening.
We're on the replay here. We're gonna watch Huge go through again here. We're gonna see as he comes out of the Joker, goes way off to the left, a higher place right behind him. It looks like there was plenty of space behind, so nobody really got into him there. Here we are.
Talk us through as to, in your series, what happens if during a Joker lap, during the Joker sequence, it gets partially cut? Does the lap still count, or is that going to be a decision thrown to the stewards?
So the rules say you have to put your left 2 tires on that red barrier wall, or the barrier. Sorry, the rumble strip. So you have to put your left 2 tires on that strip in order to complete your Joker lap. You could just floor it and go straight out, but I think that would be a stewarding decision there. But with that cut, it puts you right into traffic. So anyone that's coming around that corner is going to be in a lot of trouble if you swing a little too wide on your exit. And if you're going into the pits, you're in trouble regardless because there's a car in your way.
Yeah, I know for this one that Left has said that he wants all the drivers to stay off to the side, basically as far off to the right as they can, regardless. Now, with that being said, though, is that if there's no accidents, there isn't going to be a penalty if somebody does come out or into the Joker lap at a more preferred racing angle. And we do the same thing in my Joker series. The entrance and exit to the Joker laps, I have what's called the protected zone. In that if you stay off to the side, then you are protected there. And if somebody runs into the back of you, then they're at fault for doing it. If you leave the protected zone and there's an accident, now you're at fault for having, gone off of your racing line, the Joker lap racing line. But if there is no contact, this might be one of the strategies that people do. Is that, like we see Left pass you here back in 14th place, going through the Joker lap, and you can see he swung it out way wide because there's nobody else around him. Again, that's one of your strategy moves. Is he can wait until he has clean air both ahead of him and behind him, and now he can take a more optimal racing line through here. We saw him cut that corner quite a bit. Did not touch those rumble strips, which might end up being a stewarding decision at the end. You certainly can't floor it and go straight. I think somebody brought that up in the chat in the Discord. I said that would be met with a pretty stiff penalty. But as long as you try to make that corner, that's what you're supposed to do. But if you take the Joker while you're in traffic, then you have to definitely adhere to those standards where you stay off to the side, and that's greatly going to reduce, your speed and increase your lap time on your Joker lap.
I really like the protected zone. That's a cool idea, and a good way to explain it.
Oh, Huge comes out wide right in front of a higher place. And there was another driver there. See, that's exactly why they don't want you swinging out, because if another driver is coming up with so much more speed, let's watch that again. We've got If Looks Could Kill, and here's a higher place. You can see as he's coming around the corner, no problem. There comes Huge out right in front of him. Oh, he does go around the outside, and then we see Mr. Racing have to dive to the inside. AMS Huge at that point, I'm not sure if he hit the sausage there. I know the sausage can kind of make you temporarily lose grip, bounces the car up and down. Let's watch this again as he gets out of the Joker. Or no, this is a different pass. Yeah, I see. AMS Huge got back in front of Mr. Racing on the straightaway there.
Honestly, just this chicane here and the way it's lined up, you cannot almost help getting thrown out across the track. Like it's so hard to cut it where you're not doing it. So it's just the nature of the Joker lap here.
Yeah, it's so
But so
difficult. I mean, trying to take it with the other drivers coming around, everybody's got to have their head on a swivel to both try to avoid hitting somebody who might be going slow, or if you're the slower driver, just trying to get the heck out of the way as you know that there's drivers coming up on you really quick. It's difficult to both stay predictable while still trying to avoid at the same time.
So we're going to start to see a series of pit stops here. Some people have already gone in. So Cyrus Nicky was in third place and his tires weren't lasting. So he went in on lap 8 and he's in 13th place right now.
Oof.
I think strategy is going to be huge on this race.
And here we still see a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. These drivers are very close to each other. As we just saw, a couple laps ago, AMS Huge was the one who came out, almost got into an accident with these two, but they're still fighting hard. And we can see that tire wear. AMS Huge, his tires, front left tire and left rear tire are almost dead. Mr. Racing and a higher place both have quite a bit more tire wear left. And here we are on lap 11. We're almost to the halfway point. I don't think AMS Huge is going to make it to that halfway point.
No, he's definitely not. And if he doesn't pit this lap, I think his tires will hit 0% before he finishes his next flying lap. Higher place than Mr. Racing, incredibly good-looking tires. At this point in the race, lap 11, I would guess they're going to go 13, maybe even 14 laps. They're doing a crazy good job of saving tires, and to be that high up in the grid at the same time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, AMS Huge, sitting in 5th place, but eating up those tires quite a bit. If we do the math on this, if he does 11 laps this time, does 11 more laps on the second set, and we see a higher place going in to take his Joker. And it looks like Mr. Racing was following suit right behind him. FAF Wade in the pits. There they go as they come out of the Joker. Looks like no issues there. But no, like I was saying, of AMS Huge, if he does 11 laps twice, that's 22 laps. That would leave him with 4 laps left. He may be doing the medium, soft strat.
No. The tire wear in the second stint is about 30% less than the first stint because of the battery. Because of the battery, which runs out after about 6 laps. So the battery, if you look at everyone on the grid, is probably 0 or like barely there. And that saves your tires tremendously when it's gone. So you can do 12 laps and then pit and then go another 14 laps on medium tires and be totally fine.
Interesting. So we'll see if he's able to make that last. I mean, he is doing a lot more tire wear. JP Scale, his left rear almost dead. Doodle Bob doing much better on the tire wear. Although remember, Doodle Bob started on the soft, so he is on 4 laps less on this set of mediums than all the cars around him.
He's doing a soft medium. So he's probably, well, I don't know. He can make it 8 more laps. He might be able to throw a pair of softs on at the end again. That would be very interesting.
A soft, medium, soft strat. We haven't seen that yet.
No, we haven't.
Voidsy there with his right turn signal. Whoa, getting all sorts of squirrely. I don't know if he's letting people know he's going to be taking his Joker. Nope, he is not. But the car behind, Cyrus Nicky, does get his Joker out of the way. Let's watch as he comes out of the Joker here. Comes out, keeps it from shooting all the way out wide, which allowed Rusty Maggots to get by no problem. Wicko into the pits. No front left on his car anymore. FYF Wade with a fresh set of tires and a full tank of fuel. AMS Huge as well. 3/4 of a tank of fuel and the freshest racing mediums out on the track.
So they are fueled to the end, those guys that just put on the fresh tire. So I think they're going for the 1 stop.
All right. Regalado, we check in with our leader here. You can see his left side tires getting pretty close down there. I mean, he's on lap 13. This is the halfway point. Still has some tire wear left. I mean, might be able to keep going around. If this is still his first set of tires, and if you're saying that he can go even further on the second set, looks like he's sitting pretty in this one.
I'm gonna guess he's pitting this lap, maybe the next lap, but yeah, very good tire wear. Really interesting. The normal tire wear is the left rear is the one that goes. His front left and rear left are almost the same. It's really weird. So he's doing something different with his driving style to maybe balance out and evenly wear his left front and rear tires.
Yeah, I mean, the best drivers out there can certainly manage both their tire wear and their fuel strat just by their driving style. And, maybe that's just what he's doing. We got a number of drivers coming to the pits. Regalado in a higher place and Mr. Racing also jumping in. Doodle Bob going to temporarily inherit the lead again,
Mhm.
looking to see how far he can stretch those mediums, see if he's going to have to put on another set of mediums. Seeing as how much wear is on that, I would imagine he will probably do another set of mediums here shortly.
Me if I'm wrong, but has Mr. Racing done his 2 Joker laps? I know he's done one as well as higher place, but I think Mr. Racing has done a second one already.
That I could not tell you.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But if he has, let's see, he's going to come out of the pits here in P8, P9.
Because I see a 44 and a 46. The 46 was definitely the whatchamacallit, the Joker lap. 44, I don't know if that's in the range of a Joker lap.
I believe it is. So you may be right. So in P9, maybe set to the end. We check in with our leader. Once again, Doodle Bob, 11 seconds up on the field. We know he took that one Joker lap when at the beginning, and it looks like lap 12 was a minute 45. So I believe he probably has his second Joker lap out of the way, but we'll definitely need to pit again. We'll have to monitor that and see where he comes out after his second pit stop. Regalado still sitting in third place. Cyrus Nicky, though, still needs to pit. And there we go. Doodle Bob coming to the pits already. He is going to have to do 12 more laps. So we'll likely need to switch on to the mediums again.
Yeah,
Cyrus Nicky
I
going
think
to...
he can get 12 laps from here.
Cyrus Nicky temporarily taking first place with Regalado not too far behind. Still with his fresh racing mediums out there. But as you mentioned, has still like no battery. If looks could kill, also known as Get Busy, his teammate in P3 will likely inherit P2 when Cyrus Nicky comes in. AMS Huge, their off-track teammate, currently sitting in P4. So it looks like AMS maybe in 1, 2, 3 by the end of this. We still have about half the race left to go, though, so anything could happen. FAF
So
Wade
AMS,
in P5 and a higher place in P6. Go ahead, Ezra.
yeah, AMS Huge is actually on a different team than the AMS guy. So, but you're right. I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all in that one stop. Oh, no, not Doodle. But 1 through like at least 6 are on the one stop strat, and so they are fighting for position, or the Joker laps are going to make the difference if they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that's really what it's going to come down to, is who's gotten them done and who hasn't. You know, you want to make sure that if you're in a fight with somebody, that it's somebody that you're actually on par with as far as strategy goes, or to see if you can burn up the tires of somebody who thinks they're in a fight with you but isn't. So right on board with Voidsy here as he follows P9 and P10 through the twisty bits.
Papa in the chat asking if we are behaving. I think we're doing pretty good, Papa.
We try to. Unfortunately, there are failures occasionally. Mr. Proprietor trying to keep us all in check.
Well, I haven't shown my feet yet today, so I mean, there's always time. 28 seconds from P9 to first place. that's definitely a pit stop range. If anyone still has to pit like Cyrus Nicky, that
Yeah, looking
will
at
get
his fuel, he will most definitely have to pit again.
Yeah, he didn't
Aside
take
from the
any
fact that his
fuel.
left rear is half dead.
He didn't take any fuel. He really needs to get to at least lap 19, ideally lap 20. So is he going to be able
Try
to
to
get
do a
another
soft
4
stint.
laps? Yeah, totally. But
I
I don't know
don't
if he
think
has
he's
enough
got. I
fuel
don't
for
think he's
that.
got enough fuel to do that. So he's likely going to have to go on another set of mediums. He's
Yeah,
got 10
medium,
laps
medium.
left to go, and probably only has 1 or 2 laps of fuel left.
I think you're right.
If we saw 4 laps on softs at the beginning,
There's
asking to double that at the end.
It's 6 laps. You can get 6 laps on the soft at the end pretty easily.
Okay.
But Nicky has done both of his jokers, so he's got that going for him.
Well, and Regalado has quite a bit of distance between himself and Get Busy in third place. So, Cyrus Nicky does have 13 seconds on Get Busy. That's going to make it about 15 seconds on AMS Huge. I don't think that's enough to overcome in a pit stop, but as he's pitting later, we'll have a fresher set of tires at the end of the race. He may be able to go full try hard for the rest of this race, whereas some of these drivers may be trying to manage their tires just a little bit.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction that Cyrus still has the fuel. I think he's gonna pit. I think he's gonna finish in P7. I'm throwing
P7.
it on the table.
All right, we heard it here. Anybody wants to take the over and under on that, you're gonna have to talk to somebody else. I'm not doing it.
How much are we betting?
DraftKings.com. Or wait, no. Strike that.
Well,
Strike that from the
you know,
record.
there is a fantasy league at play here. So
There was. That has been wrapped up as of the last round.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas myself and Slow-Mo ended up taking 1 and 2 in the fantasy league. If you're interested in doing sim racing fantasy leagues, there is motorsportleaguesfantasy.com. Left to Pass You is the administrator of that site. So if you want to use that for some kind of fantasy league, definitely reach out to Left to Pass You. As we see Cyrus Nicky going into the pits, we're going to see him fill that up. Probably going to put on another set of racing mediums and see just how many positions he can get back.
He can't go that many laps on top at the end, so got to be medium.
Right. He's still filling it up, over 50% fuel. He has dropped all the way to P13 at this point. He is going to come out ahead of Left to Pass You, but P13, and he is 5 seconds behind Wicco in P12. So to get back to P7, that is going to be quite the feat, but he does have the freshest tires on the track. Now, with that said, Regalado's now been out for a number of laps on those racing mediums, and they look to barely be worn at this point. If looks could kill, doing the same thing.
Regalado and Get Busy have only done one joker, I think.
Yep, and I think we've seen that the Joker will cost about 6-7 seconds.
Yeah, Wade's only done one. Huge has only done one.
Wade and Huge here in a battle together. If you said each of them have only done one, they are on the same strat, so this is a battle for position. It's like Wade got a better exit out of that corner, going to pull away a bit on the straight, get that lead up to over a second. In a higher place back in P5, looks like he got a half-second pen there somewhere. That's going to inhibit his chances to get caught up to P4.
A nice gap, 13 seconds, off P3, 10 seconds off P2. He's in a good position.
Yep, he could take his Joker lap at any angle he wants and is not going to have to worry about running into somebody. So that's going to be a big advantage. I think that was something that Doodle Bob was trying to do at the beginning, get some space on those racing softs in order to be able to do that with the Joker lap. But by the time he took it, Joker exit, he was definitely coming out in traffic.
Higher
Regalado
place
here
was
coming
10,
down.
and I think he also only done one Joker lap.
Well, this race is starting to wind down. We're on lap 19 of 26. So once Regalado crosses the line, he will have 6 more laps left to go. No, 7 more laps left to go. There he goes, taking his second Joker lap. We see, ooh, he cut that corner pretty good. Got that front end to really bite coming out of there. But was able to maintain all that speed. Still a 5.9 second gap to second place. And now his Joker laps are all out of the way. He can just look forward and finish this race off. But look at this battle from 3, 4, 5, 6, all very close together. JP Scale back in P7 got a half-second penalty. Looks like he already had it at this point, so we missed where it came from. But trying to get up into the upper half of this field, where P7 is half the field. Then 8, 9, and 10. We got a battle going on between Mr. Racing Jogal and Voidsy. Jogal all over the back of Mr. Racing as they start lap 20. He's trying to get onto that throttle. As you mentioned, though, you got to be so close. You hammer that throttle too much with a car with this much horsepower, it will throw the back end right around on you. As Jogal is all over the back of Mr. Racing now, really trying to get that past on. He's looking to the inside. Mr. Racing taking defensive line, but Jogal trying to go around the outside, seeing if he can get the cut back. Does get a little bit better of a run out, but not going to have enough time to get alongside him before this little chicane here. And that's allowed Voidsy to get caught up as these two are battling. Here they go onto the backstretch. Now Jogal going to have to play defensive with Voidsy all over the back of him. Jogal's in that position where he's having to look out the windshield and the rearview mirror at the same time. Voidsy trying to make something happen, get a little further up into the top 10. As we check on up near the front of the field, if looks could kill, still with the 2-second gap over Wade, who has a 1.7 second gap over AMS Huge. Then 1.4 seconds back to a higher place, who has had a good race so far. JP Scale still holding on to P6. Doodle Bob back into the pits, 17% fuel. With 5 laps left, he might be doing another soft stint, you think?
Yeah. So he did a soft stint. I have not seen that from anyone yet, so that's interesting. I don't think it's going to work for him in the end, but
I was about to say, I think there's a reason why he's the only one doing it.
Yeah, that's tough because Doodle Bob. Yeah, Doodles have great pace. I was picking him for maybe a top 5, but he's got to at least finish under Cyrus. So my prediction comes true. Gotta get Cyrus into P7.
Well, here we are, still 7, 8, and 9, still having the same battle. Jogal still being center of the Oreo here.
Yeah, look at these
holding
groups
on to that
of
middle
battle.
spot.
I mean, 7, 8, 9, all in a nice pack battling. 10, 11, 12, all tight. I think 4, 5, and 6, very close.
Yeah, we got a number of battles going on. It's a matter of who's where. Cyrus Nicky back up to P10 after having come out in P13 after that last pit stop. And he's got 4.5 seconds before he can catch up to those 3 drivers in Voidsy, Jogal, and Mr. Racing. So he's going to have 5 more laps to try to catch them, but then he's going to have 3 cars to try to pass to get up into P6. What was your prediction? He was going to try to finish P7? Oh, and Jogal going for the pass on Mr. Racing on the outside, has the lead, but Mr. Racing later on the brakes Looks like he's going to be able to keep that lead for now, but Joe Gall putting him on notice, trying to get that pass done, but that's allowed Voidsey to get up alongside for just a brief moment there. Let's watch this again. Mr. Racing taking a very defensive line as Joe Gall's coming, has the lead here, but as they get into the braking zone, Mr. Racing just so much later was able to just slot in front of him, and Voidsey there trying to come back, but wasn't quite able to get around. But now as we check back in with them, the same Joe Gall having to go defensive, Voidsey trying to get up along beside him. So much battling going on between these three that may allow Cyrus Nicky to catch up even that much faster. Joe Gall with a bad exit there. It's allowed Voidsey to catch up to him even more. They got this fast right-hander.
Such good driving from three highly skilled individuals. I mean, they have gone through the first 3 sectors of this race without barely touching each other.
Oh, Joe Gall went really deep. Sorry to interrupt, but it looks like Voidsey's going to be able to get that pass done. Joe Gall just outbroke himself driving in the rearview mirror. Misjudged his braking point, gave kind of a gimme spot to Voidsey. Let's see this again. You see Joe Gall going, almost gets into Mr. Racing, but holds it straight. Voidsey just able to hit the apex as normal, easily takes the spot away. Sorry, Azriel, go ahead.
Right after I, comment on how highly skilled these drivers are, we have one that just sends it super.
And Voidsey now all over Mr. Racing as well.
We've got 3 laps left. What I think these battles are going to be won or lost by who's done the best job of managing their tires. Hopefully not running out of fuel, and no major mistake. But the tires are what's going to be the difference.
We see Voidsey get around Mr. Racing, able to hold it down to the apex better. I'm curious to know if his tires are quite a bit better. Mr. Racing trying to battle back, but not able to get it. Looks like Voidsey now suddenly is on a charge. And we can see back in P10, there's Cyrus Nicky. He's caught up to these 3 drivers while they've been battling. Cyrus Nicky likely has the freshest tire of the bunch with, like you said, 3 laps to go.
I don't know if I
be able to dispatch these other drivers.
I don't know if I caught this correctly, but Voidsey, I think, as we see Cyrus, great exit out of that sweeper down the inside in P9. I was just going to comment. I think I was seeing Voidsey not do a complete liftoff going into a corner, but the last few meters, he's going 50% throttle to get a little bit of extra charge on the battery. I think that's what was the key to success in terms of him getting that position away from Mr. Racing.
Once again, hovercraft with the eye, catching all the little details from these expert drivers. But yeah, Voidsey certainly seemed like he was doing something to give himself a little bit of an edge. Regalado, we check in with him back up in P1, 6.7 seconds to lead over his teammate. Get busy. We got about 3 laps left to go. Get busy with a 3.5 second lead over AMS Huge, who has a 4 second lead over a higher place, who has FAF Wade all over the back of him. JP Scale also not very far behind, but then a 12-second gap to that battle that we've been watching these last few laps, with Voidsey starting to pull away now that he's been able to get a lead on those 3. The 4, 5, 6 is a battle that's also shaping up here at the end. FAF Wade's tires not looking so great. Got about 2/3 of those tires gone. A higher place, tire wear slightly better. We check in with JP Scale. We can see his tires are kind of about the same as FAF Wade, so those 2 might be on par. Hard Place might be able to get a little bit of a gap on these 2 as he's managed his tires just slightly better.
I wonder if we still have some drivers that have to complete a Joker lap, and they might be waiting for the very last lap. So we might see
that is entirely possible. That is not a bad play, because the Joker lap is so near the end of the course that waiting to do it at the end, you're not having lost as much speed. You're still trying to get up to speed when you get to the start finish line, whereas somebody who took it in the middle of the race will have lost all that time trying to get up to speed all the way down the front stretch. It's not going to be a lot, but it may be just enough.
Good point. I mean, we have 20
now, granted, wherever they are on the track, It's a matter now that this battle between those three, uh, fifth or fourth, fifth, and sixth, they do have a 12-second gap to Voidsy. So even if one of them has to take the Joker lap, they will likely not fall any further than sixth place. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 are all fairly close together. So if any of them have to still take a Joker, that they will definitely lose some spots.
Doodle moving up the field on those soft tires.
Absolutely. Joe Gall, he was up there in what, 8th place, has now found himself back in P10. He took a highly defensive line there, but Doodle Bob, with so much more grip, able to do the round the outside, not a problem.
It's really weird. It almost like he gave that position up because he knew his tires were so bad.
That very well could be. If you know that your tires are hurting, it may not be worth tearing them up even more. As our leaders have now started the final lap of this race. Regalado with a healthy lead. Actually, 1, 2, 3 all have pretty healthy lead over this battle going on behind them with 4th, 5th, and 6th. This battle is still on. Anybody makes a mistake, you can lose some spots. Boise's been able to put some distance between him and Mr. Racing, about a 2-second gap.
I think Wade has done all of his Jokers, and P1 through 4 still need to do one. I think. Might be right. Yeah, we're about to find out.
Yeah, there we are. Regalado, he's going to be getting to this final backstretch here. Only another half lap to go before he gets to that Joker section. He's managed his tires so well. Here he is at the end, still has a third of his tires left to go. Not somebody just, with a couple pixels left.
He did a Joker on lap 19, so that might have been his last one. We'll see.
I suspect he's already done them. But we will know here in just a second as he passes the Joker section. Goes through the final turn and is going to be our race winner of Division 1, Round 5. Take a joke. Regalado. Making jokers of everybody. Get busy. Going to come across the line in P2. AMS Huge. 11 seconds back. Going to take P3, a higher place. A good consistent race here. Going to come across the line in P4. FAF Wade not far behind in P5. JP Scale in P6. Distinct Voidsy, who had to do quite a bit of battling there at the end. Oh, a big drift there. Looks like he's going to come across the line in P7. Mr. Racing P8. Cyrus Nicky P9.
That was close.
Joe Gall really fighting the tires at the end. Look at that left rear going to come across in P10. Rusty Maggots P11. Oh, Doodle Bob, who spins out. Oh, has no left rear tire.
Oh, no!
Those racing softs did not last. Was one spot ahead of Wicco. Wicco got the spot back here when he spun out. Oh, looks like he had spun out once. Spins out again.
Oh, man.
Maybe there's a reason we didn't see that soft, medium, soft strat. Banging his head against the wall. Going to try to go across in reverse. Still ahead of left to pass you.
And he reverses for the finish.
But left to pass you with his second substitute drive of the night. Going to come across sideways in P14.
What a trooper.
Exiting in style.
Man, I tell you, our replay director felt really bad about watching Doodle Bob do that.
Yes, he was reluctantly showing us the replay as Doodle Bob continued to spin and to spin. Hovercraft, will you take us through the finishing results?
Of course. We are looking at Regalado in P1 from Big Pace. And of course, if looks could kill, finishing out in P2. AMS Huge in P3, rounding out the podium. The first S7R driver on the grid, a higher place up in P4. FAF Wade up in P5. Going down, VIP JP scale is going to be in a P6. P6. Distinct Boise late battling gets him a P7 at the end of the day. Mr. Racing, the second S7R driver down the grid, in a P8 as we go over to the second half. VIP Cyrus Nicky looked really good on pace, but unfortunately didn't have what it takes throughout a race distance. P9 at the end of the day. Jogal, really difficult ending there, looking for a P7, but falls down to P10. At 7-hour, Rusty Magas, quiet race from him in a P11. Wicco in P12. Doodle Bob with the last lap incident, 2 spinouts and a questionable reverse across the grid. P13 left it pass, as we said, second reserve driver. P14 to round out the order.
Doodle Bob did have the
And
fastest lap, so taking those racing softs, there are, I believe, bonus points on the line for those that get the fastest lap. So Doodle Bob's going to snatch that up with a 1:35.508 as the fastest lap of that race.
One day I'm going to remember that fastest lap. I keep forgetting this league has bonus points, so it does matter.
I mean, man, what a race. We saw battles like all race long in that one. I tell you what, if you guys enjoyed that, by all means, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you back for more bangers like this. We have been putting on all season long, so you definitely want to come back and check this out. But man, what a race. But once again, I mean, the big pace guys have, pardon the pun, so much pace. They've been able to take positions 1 and 2 in so many of the races this season. They've really been the team that's been hard to beat. I mean, does anybody have an answer for them in the finals? Hovercraft, I'll start with you. Do you think anybody has an answer to them once we get to that final week?
Yeah, hopefully they all spin. They just, they're such great drivers. It's clear to everyone who watches the broadcast. They put in a ton of work and a ton of practice. It's easy to look at them and say, "Oh, they're just the fastest drivers," but there's a lot of work that needs to happen to be able to get that claim. So they're not taking this league lightly. They're definitely putting in the laps. They're definitely putting in the reps, and maybe someone will take the fight to them come the final races. But at this point in time, there's not been many consistent enough to be able to really make that declaration.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Azriel, you're actually running in Division One. I mean, if the given is that big pace, just as kind of the runaway, do you think there's a team that really has a shot at the P2?
Yeah, someone needs to take big pace out, and if I had a guess, someone that did would have their windshield wipers on, probably. But P2, honestly, I mean, I gotta give it up to my team. I think we're gonna be P2 going into the finals. I think after this race, I think we're in P2. But P2, 3, and 4, we're all very close. It's gonna be a battle regardless of where we end up.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
go IORT, man. That's it.
A little bit of favoritism in the commentary, but we do. I mean, we have 2 guys here who have teams that are competing. So I mean, what do you expect? But all right. So with that being said, let's wrap up Division One. Let's think back to Division Two. We've got 3 drivers from our Division Two race earlier today. Spilled Milk, Oak, and Florinota have joined us in the booth here for a post-race interview. Welcome, guys. Congratulations on your races earlier today. Florinota taking the win. Oak coming across in P2. I mean, the start of that race. Does anybody want to start with how the start of that race went for them? Don't hold back.
I guess I'll go. Am I good to go?
Go ahead, Oak.
All right. I think, yeah, the start of the race was definitely a shaky one. The second turn, was it, or the first chicane, whatever you call it? Definitely a lot of cars. Too many to be exact. I honestly, I tried braking early to kind of, I was kind of anticipating that it was going to happen. I was in preparation, but I didn't think I would get hit from the side and knocked into the gravel like that. But So yeah, for me, that first lap was absolutely awful. I got put down into P12, but it was nice coming back and being able to fight towards the front by the end of the race.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, Oak
absolutely. I mean, that
and
was a heck
Milk.
of a run back, certainly. Go ahead, Ezreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of you guys had serious incidents in the race and were able to fight back, and have a good finish. So, and props to both of you for that. And man, congrats, Florinota, for just putting on a clinic and coming in with the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Florina, how did things look from your viewpoint? I mean, you pretty much had the whole field in your rearview mirror the whole time. Was this an easy drive, or were you worried at any point?
Well, off turn one, or like more off the start, I think that the mixed compounds, like I'm pretty sure that it also helped me jump off the start as well, because I started P2 and then like I was able to just send it up by like a tenth or two by turn one, and I thought that everybody was gonna crash into me for a little bit there, but I ended up like gaining like 1 or 2 seconds off of everybody else's like crashing into each other.
Yeah, I have to ask, like, did did you ask if that was legal, or did you just read the rules and kind of interpret and go for it? And then follow up, Oak and Milk. Did you know that these guys did like medium and hard different compounds on front and rear? And what do you think about that?
Were there people that ran different compounds front and rear?
There were
I
at
believe there
least
were two drivers, Florinota
you're
and Study Empire, both pulled off that strat.
yeah.
Interesting.
I kind
I,
of remember looking in the pre-lobby, seeing the PP ratings of seeing, kind of trying to figure out what people were doing on strategy on the start, and I was like, how did they get to that particular score? What's going on up there? Because they were both on
Yeah.
like 8-6-3, and I don't remember mediums being like that, but if it worked for them, it
Yep.
worked for them.
Yeah, now you know they I mean, Left to Pass said all tires available, so these guys took that pretty literally, and
Yeah,
they
we
threw
asked them a
different
couple of
tires.
times.
Yeah.
He said it was
that
okay.
is
Okay.
that's very creative. I try to avoid from that because I just assume that all the with all the leagues that I'm in, I everything involving that kind of stuff is usually
It's
like,
usually against the rule. Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh,
I never that it never even crossed my mind until now. So that was very creative, very creative.
Well, and to be honest, in the internal chat to the commentary booth, Left to Pass did say that it is allowed, not a problem, but it will definitely be in the rule book for season 2.
Yeah.
Well, Florinota, I just want to say, congratulations, teammate. I'm glad to see you with that win. Creative strategy at the beginning, and I believe this, if I did the math correctly, I believe this is going to prop you up to P1 of the Drivers' Championship for Division 2. Do you have any comments on that?
I was surprised that I was able to get up here, honestly, because the first race in Brazil, like I honestly rage quit pretty bad from that. Like I ended like 5 or 6 laps off of the leader because I just sat in the pits. So like overall, like I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to get back up here, but that last round at Le Mans, that helped us bump us all up really. Like our entire team, I think it's like 1 through 4 now, right?
Believe so, but I'm unsure how many of the other drivers down the order have used their double power up. But regardless, congratulations for Laurinota. Glad to see you up here. Glad to talk to you up here. Uh, do we have any other questions for our drivers?
Yeah, so I was going to ask. Oh, there was something from production.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know
Spilled
what?
Milk.
I
What
gotta
was your what was your viewpoint on the race? And I'll also follow up with this. Is I was going to ask about the whole Joker lap aspect of it. Obviously, I kind of had come up with the idea, and I've been running my Joker series. So I'm very interested in, now that we've kind of brought it to the masses here, that some of you have done it. I know Florinota has some experience running in my Joker series, and I know I've seen Oak in there as well. I believe Spilled Milk, this might be your first time trying to run a Joker series style race. Um, so kind of a two-part question. How did the race unfold for you, just on a whole, and then how was throwing in the Joker laps? How do you think that affected the race and the racing just of it in general?
Yeah, I think especially off the start, I did not get the launch that I was hoping for at all. I think at one point I was down P10 or P11, and to watch my teammate go off to the right and a left-hander was a little bit of a demoralizing thing, especially like this might not be good. And kind of thinking I was the one horse in a two-horse race now, but just ran my own race, stayed in my own, got the Joker laps out on the harder compound so that once I got onto the faster medium, I could just go for it. And then I think the Joker lap definitely helped with, I don't know if there was some contact in front of me with a couple drivers, and I don't know if there was damage or anything, but I saw the puff of smoke, and that was kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel, like I can get up there to the podium. So I think it definitely threw a wrench in the works for a lot of people, and it was a fun aspect for sure to figure out the breaking points and all. But at the end of the day, ran my own race, and congrats to Florinoda and Oak, and I'm especially surprised to see Oak up here, considering I remember looking off to the left at him in the gravel in one point. So, good on him to get up there.
Yeah, definitely an impressive drive. We were commenting in the booth actually that it was quite impressive that all the drivers have been able to figure out what the breaking point was going into the Joker. Normally when we run the Monza chicane layout, you get your the braking markers are there, the different marker boards are there. If you've got the flashing brake thing that shows up to at least tell you when to start, you've got all these indicators to help with how to get in there. But when you're doing it as a Joker lap, when you're running the no chicane layout, you either have to have all that stuff memorized or figure out the muscle memory of where to get it stopped. And we saw very few incidents, quite honestly, of people getting into it. We saw a couple of people run a little deep. There was a little bit of contact, but for the most part, all the drivers seemed to get it done. Oak and Florinoda, do you guys think that your experience running in the Joker series kind of helped prepare you for this? Or because obviously you guys have done this a bit before. I don't think I saw either of you when we ran Monza last year in the Joker series, but certainly some practice at the other tracks. What are your thoughts?
I think because I think this track, it's more common to run the chicane version of where, like, where to brake because you're always most of the time running it with the chicane. So for me, I already had an idea of where I would need to brake for the corner. So that was right around the 150 to 100 board. And yeah, I mean, it was just, I was already used to like how to approach that corner, and how what's the best line to take through there. So for me, it wasn't really that big of a problem. It's definitely a different case with some different tracks though. So yeah, it wasn't that bad for me.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly were consistent. I mean, fighting your way back from, what were you, P11? Were you even P13 at one point?
Yes, I was. Or yeah,
Yeah.
P13.
So P13 all the way back to P2, heck of a drive. Um, does anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we'll let these guys go.
Yeah, I just want to ask, looking at the rounds in front of you, is there anything you're looking forward to or particularly dreading, in the races to come?
Oh, I know what I'm dreading. If it
What's
is, it's track limits for Yas Marina. That's gonna be a real tough one to get used to because it's so many corners where you could just cut like crazy, and it's
Yeah,
it's gonna be a curveball.
I agree because he left the passes said already, like exploit the track limits as much as you can, which is
Yeah.
different than what we're getting in daily races or most league races. So it's going to be very, very cool. Different, you know.
hmm
Maybe not cool, maybe cool. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just dreading hopping back in the group fours in general.
Oh yeah, that as well.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these races are.
Yeah, good night, guys. I mean, great race from everyone. Kick kick some ass, and we look forward to seeing you do it again in the next round.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. From all of us here in the booth, great drive, you guys. Florinoda at the lead from start to finish, and then Spilled Milk and Oak both, getting sent back at one point, but fighting back to a P2, P3. Great drive by all three of you. Well done. We're impressed. Have a good night.
Thank you. You
Congratulations,
guys have a good
Andrew.
one. Thank you, Hover.
Thank you.
All right. Well, there we have it for our podium finishers. Hubbard, do you want to talk about what we've got for our next event?
Of course, the next event in this season will be on September 3rd of 2026, the Thursday round. We're going to go over to the Middle East, where the theme of this round is Knowledge is Power. Of course, the full information log will be in motorsportleagues.com, specifically the round details for the drivers ready to practice.
Yep, absolutely. So that is going to be a fun set of races. Um, guys, I mean, this has been a great night of racing. I mean, there was an awful lot of action both in the first race and then especially in the second race. There was battles going on the whole time. What a great night. I was so happy to be here. Happy to have both of you guys in the booth. Thanks, Hovercraft and Azrael, for coming in, both being guest commentators for the night. We really enjoyed having you here.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
thanks for
much for
having us,
having me.
man. Yeah, very cool hanging out with you, both of you guys.
Yep, certainly. And we've got T-Case behind the scenes, who's been running this broadcast, doing a great job with all the different scene transitions and managing the cameras while on the track. So, thanks to him for doing that. Left to pass you in VIP for putting on this league. What a fun league we have going on here. The talent of the drivers we have in here and the different combos we've been running through has been so much fun. I'm really personally really appreciative that you brought the Joker series out and shown it to the masses here. This has been a really fun one for me to watch. Some of these drivers really go through and try to figure out something entirely different from what we've had to do before. If those of you out there that have now driven it and have now watched it are interested, you can find more info on my Joker series. I run it as a monthly event once a month. My next event is September 10th. You can find all that information at the papashouseofgame.com website. At the events tab on top, you can go to the Joker series and find out when we do these types of races on the regular. Um, thank you all you guys for watching. For those of you that are new, please remember to like and subscribe. If the spirit moves you, we do have a donation link pinned in the chat. We've also got that QR code down there at the bottom if you wish to leave us a donation as we try to get this thing off the ground and bring you more exciting leagues in the future. Any final thoughts from you guys before we say goodbye? Hovercraft, I'll let you go first.
No, I mean, everything tonight was wonderful. Kind of, I was wish-washy at the start of the Barcelona race. I was secretly hoping for maybe some beginning of the first Cars movie where everyone just crashes and dies. But these are the Division 1 drivers. They are pretty good, and both races were fantastic. We saw a lot of drama, we saw a lot of the storylines develop, and only a few more rounds for this wonderful season, and we're going to be left wondering what to do for the rest of the year.
Well, we do have NRL coming up after this. So a quick plug to McNaughty. He'll be running NRL as soon as this race or as soon as this season wraps up. But that is still to come. We do have two more exciting rounds here. Azrael, I'll let you say goodbyes before we are out of here for the night.
Yeah, this group of drivers in all the divisions, both nights of the week, are some of the best drivers in Gran Turismo across the board. I mean, these are all the people that are great, and they Left to Pass has managed to pull them in and put them in one spot in a very cool way. And so I'm here for it. We're all here for it. It's been a lot of fun, and man, it's only going to get crazier. Like Joker's is crazy. It's only going to get weirder, and it's going to be fun. So yeah, tune in for all of that. And so great racing tonight. Looking forward to the rest. And by the way, yeah, NRL, dude, it is butting up against the finale of VIP. A lot of the dudes in this series are also doing NRL, myself included. We got to figure out how to practice for all of this at the same time. So, man, that that's rough.
Yeah, well, I will. I mean, it's a great time to be alive when it comes to league racing in Gran Turismo. There is no shortage of things to do. Once again, thank you, Hovercraft and Azrael, for joining me in the booth. Uh, thank you, VIP, for having us here. My name is Salamander. We had a great night tonight. We will catch you guys next Thursday, September 3rd, in the Middle East. Until then, take it easy. Have a good night.
Good night.